Puka hurt. Hopefully Puka's okay. Puka Nacua went down at practice today. Important to note that he jogged off the field after he got hurt. Ice bag on his knee. We'll find out more a little later, but there's some hope that things are okay and he could just miss a little bit of time. But hopefully there's nothing torn. I heard some rumors about a PCL. I heard some rumors about that's, bogus. We don't really know. There's not a whole lot to go on. I'm sure they'll do testing on it. Sometimes you can jog off the field with an injury like that. Sometimes you can have no damage to any of the other potential ligaments or any parts of the knee, and then people end up, looking like they're okay. They jog off the field, and then they end up having a torn ACL or some sort of injury. So stay tuned. We don't want to assume anything. A good harsh reminder that Cooper Kupp is an absolute steal in round number 3 and will continue to be so. Brandon Aiyuk, new trade rumors getting kicked into high gear, because beat writers in San Francisco are the ones talking about this, specifically Matt Maiocco, the kind of lead dog beat writer for the Niners, is saying that it's never been more likely that an Aiyuk trade would go down than right now. Some rumors: Cleveland, New England, obviously the Washington Commanders will continue to be in the mix for trade rumors for Brandon Aiyuk, and so will Pittsburgh. But now we have a Cleveland Brown situation entering the picture. Amari Cooper and Aiyuk potentially in some sort of swap that would include probably a draft pick move up or something. We'll break it all down right now. Puka Nacua, Brandon Aiyuk, all fresh news. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now. File on in, please. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
So all breaking news, all of this news is fresh. Obviously, Puka Nacua, we just kind of went over that. Injured during practice today. We'll know more. This is the injury where he came to the ground. Looks like his knee was injured. To what degree, we just don't know. And so we'll have to wait and see. But Cooper Kupp in third round territory has been and will continue to be a steal. Win a league type of steal. So we'll have to see. Hang tight on the Puka Nacua front. We might even have some updates as we're live right now, so hang tight. But he is on the sideline, reportedly. There's a lot of talk and whispers that things will be okay, but that's a lot of hopeful talk. We just don't know. They'll have to look at some testing. Okay, so on to the other piece of news. So Puka Nacua aside, prayers up for Puka. Puka, standing ovation for Puka.
Mashed potatoes!
All right, Puka, get better quickly, pal. Brandon Aiyuk, this is new news. Amari Cooper, Aiyuk swap. Why does it make sense? Let's take a look at what Matt Maiocco says, and he talks about the New England Patriots as well. This is also Trent Williams news, which kind of makes me think that the Aiyuk stuff might have some legs. Let me put that aside, and I'll address that in a second. But here is what this is the Amari Cooper contract. We'll address that in a second. This is Matt Maiocco, who said right here in the first highlighted part, and let me actually use this to highlight here. And it appears more likely than ever that the Niners are willing to make a trade. It might be up to Aiyuk to determine the next move. The reason I bring this particular highlighted portion up is because so many people act like Aiyuk has no leverage. The disgruntled player always has leverage. The question is, how much leverage do they have? E111 says Puka jogged off again. That doesn't mean anything. It's certainly good news, but you can jog off with a torn ACL. You could jog off with a torn PCL. Usually when you can't move after a torn ACL or PCL, it's because you have peripheral damage. You have a torn MCL. You have torn meniscus. You usually do not cleanly tear your ACL or your PCL. So that's why you usually have other damage. But there's no sign that he's okay yet. We're still going to probably have to await some testing. Likely, it sounds better than it initially did. That's for sure. As far as the Matt Maiocco convo here, again, keep in mind, and And welcome to A-Train became a YouTube exclusive member. This is one of those situations where you got a lot of people talking out of turn, a lot of small-time Twitter accounts and Instagram accounts that they don't even have a face to the actual account. It's just some kid in his basement while his mom's making meatloaf and he's cooking up all these rumors. And according to a source, you don't have a single source, kid. You don't. No, nobody does truly have a source. The only people that have sources are Ian Rappaport, Schefter, some people at ESPN, a few others. You got a guy like Matt Maiocco, who's the beat writer for the Niners, so he's got a lead on some of that stuff. But even Schefter and Rappaport will beat Maiocco out on a lot of the news drops. But you do want to turn to the local beat writers when you want to try and get a feel for the temperature of something. And Matt Maiocco is, even though he said Sam Darnold throws the most beautiful football in Niner history. He's hard to trust after that one. He is their lead beat writer. This is the guy that they would send to the aliens if they said, send us your beat writer leader. They would say, Matt Maiocco, go talk to the aliens. So this is the 49er community's most trusted beat writer. And he says in this thing, this article here, which was on Niners Nation, I believe, Matt suggested that Kendrick Bourne, who is currently on the physically unable to perform list and coming off season-ending injury, could be a part of the Patriots package. If I were the Niners, I would ask for one of the Patriots' rookie wide receivers. Kyle Shanahan supposedly loved Jalen Polk and Javon Baker leading into the NFL draft. Look, this is crazy. If Aiyuk were to get traded to the Patriots, I don't know where I'd want Javon Baker. Do we want Javon Baker to go to the Niners in a crowded room? Probably not. Do we want him to have Aiyuk there to compete? Probably not. So it's like this would suck in a way the New England situation, because I want Javon Baker to be in a position to be the number one wide receiver. He can't do that in San Francisco. He can't do that in New England if Aiyuk's there. So this would be a big L for Javon Baker and Polk if whoever's left over, if there was a trade involved. But keep in mind that that's not the only team. So that was the New England Patriot conversation, because the Patriots have been very interested in Aiyuk. And according to this report by Matt Maiocco, which is a lot of speculation, there is still legs to this thing from a New England Patriot perspective. As we go over to this particular report here, Cooper's contract, talking about Amari Cooper being swapped out for Brandon Aiyuk. Cooper's contract voids after 2024. So the 49ers would have a receiver in place this season. They need to place Cooper if he isn't in the future plans. It should be pointed out that Cooper's only has $1.2 million in guaranteed salary. His cap number is in 2024 is 8.7. So the Niners would save a little more than $6 million in cap space by swapping Amari Cooper and Brandon Aiyuk. And if the Niners don't want to sign Brandon Aiyuk long term, this makes a lot of sense to save a bunch of money. And then you've also got a guy in Trent Williams that's accrued over $300,000 in fines so far that cannot be revoked or overturned or sent back. $300,000 in fines are locked in to go to Trent Williams. They're charging this man $300K, which means that he's going to say, I'm not paying it. You can't take it back. It's not something you can revoke, but I'm going to make you put that in my new contract. So the Niners are ultimately footing the bill for every single dollar that gets accrued, because Trent Williams ain't going to play. He'd retire. He'd say, good luck to you. You pay me back not only every dime that you're charging me. Ziggy, shut up. Ziggy, off. You're paying me every single dime that you're charging me. Right now it's $300K on top of the asking price that I want in terms of my salary upgrade. I want to be Christian McCaffrey. I want to be treated like Christian McCaffrey. Give me the CMC treatment. Give me the upgrade. Give me the salary. Give me the raise. Give me the Tyreek Hill raise. Trent Williams needs the money. And this bill is getting pretty high. So it makes sense saving $6 million in cap space for the Niners to get Amari Cooper, who's a veteran wide receiver, and what Shanahan really worried about at this point, winning a Super Bowl. So this is a very interesting situation. It's becoming crazy. Of course, Pittsburgh, as I have on the screen, are in the mix. Of course, the Washington Commanders are going to be in the mix for as long as JD5 continues to harp on them about getting this man in uniform so that the two best friends that anybody could have could push the bunk beds together and have more room for activities. Because I can tell you one thing, JD5 would feed Aiyuk to an extreme. Aiyuk will become a top 12 wide receiver under the command of this JD5 character, who might just be the number 1 or number 2 overall quarterback in fantasy football, a top 5 NFL quarterback within 1 calendar year. 1 calendar year. You can run your mouth all you want and say things like, Smitty, he's never taken a snap. That's what I'm doing here. That's why I have a show, a prediction show. I'm not here to twiddle my thumbs and say, well, when it happens, we'll come out and report on it. My job is to try and predict the next JD5. And I think I've done a damn good job so far, because guess where the entire world is right now? On the JD5 train. Were they on the train in January? No, they weren't. Now everybody loves JD5. So when I tell you JD5 is a top 1 to 5 NFL quarterback in 1 calendar year, when I tell you JD5 is a top 1 to 5 quarterback in fantasy in 1 calendar year, if not this year, you might want to start paying attention, because we've said this since January, and now everybody's getting on the train.
Let him cook.
Aiyuk would be beautiful. A beautiful addition in Washington. If you want to win championships, if you want to be fast-tracked into the Houston Texans blueprint, which was, let's not wait a year, let's do it now and surprise everybody, you go get Brandon Aiyuk. Pittsburgh, I don't like Aiyuk from a fantasy perspective in Pittsburgh as much as I do in Washington. You got George Pickens there. Hard to see how that's going to react. You also have New England Patriots. No quarterback really cemented in right now. Don't love that for Aiyuk, especially in year 1. If you're juggling quarterbacks and Aiyuk's trying to get acclimated to not only a new offense, but acclimated to a quarterback, then the quarterback changes to another quarterback, then they rotate to another quarterback. He might have 3 quarterbacks in a new system. Changing teams, never a good formula for good success for a wide receiver. Changing teams is hard enough. JD5, this would be like going to your best friend's house and saying, hey, let's go sling the football. Let's you have the voice of an angel, okay? Let's push the bunk beds together. Best friends that anybody could have. This would be amazing in Washington. Now, in Aiyuk in Cleveland, let me just tell you this. I don't like Aiyuk in Cleveland all that much. It's not bad. It's not great. You've got Deshaun Watson, who, honestly, we don't know what even Cooper's going to be with Deshaun Watson in there full time. Deshaun Watson's a disaster. And this team is married to Deshaun Watson for multiple more years, because every dime of his contract, the $49 million each year that he's getting, is guaranteed. They can't walk away from this. So no matter what, for good or for bad, this Aiyuk Cleveland situation, it's kind of murky. His future there would be kind of in question in terms of consistency. And is he going to be as good as he would be in Washington? No. Is he going to be as good in Cleveland as he would in San Francisco? No, probably not. Would he be good? Yeah. Would it be better than maybe New England? Probably. For now. I'm not saying that May can't develop. I'm not saying Joe Milton doesn't take the job from Drake May. Are we seeing this? Are we seeing this? I'm seeing it. You're seeing it. We're all seeing it. Joe Milton, one of Smitty's, you must go get him. Las Vegas. What's Las Vegas doing? Las Vegas is sleeping at the wheel. They're sleeping at the wheel. They're in the draft. They diarrhea the bed during the draft. The Raiders. Diarrhea the bed all over the place because they let Penix Jr. go top 10 when I said he would go top 10. I said he'd go top 10. He deserves to go top 10. You better grab him inside the top 10. You want Penix Jr.? Trade up. You want Bo Nix? Trade up. Vegas sat back and Pierce crapped the bed on his first assignment. And guess what? There was a solution. A solution was maybe grab Rattler and maybe Joe Milton. Maybe there's something there. But no, they don't. They crapped the bed. How about Justin Fields? What do we say about Justin Fields? This guy's already taken the job. He's already taking the job. He's in motion right now, swinging away at that starting job in Pittsburgh, just like we predicted. On this board, the moment he landed in Pittsburgh, I wrote, Justin Fields will start by week 1. Nobody's like that prediction, but we're Smitty approving it now, aren't we?
You've just been Smitty approved.
Justin Fields, where were you, Raiders? Where were you? Where were you? Hey, Cleveland, where were you when Justin Fields was available for a 4th or 5th round pick? It's a 6th round conditional to 4. Why not call up and say, hey, we'll give you a 4. Doesn't need to be conditional for Justin Fields. Hey, Justin, remember when I said you could go wherever you want? That's off the table. We're getting a 4th. Doesn't need to be conditional. All right, we'll send him on over. Red Rover. Fields is coming right over. And then the Browns have something. The Browns then have their Brock Purdy. Trey Lance, complete failure. Not because of Trey, because of Shanahan. But it's a complete failure. The only way to get rid of and forget about a complete failure is to have a Brock Purdy sneak up and make everybody say, we don't care about the failure because we got Brock Purdy, right? Right?
To the moon.
Okay, so that's what you want in this field situation. Pittsburgh did a beautiful job. Pittsburgh's got something in this kid, and we know he's probably starting week 1. You can feel it. You can smell it. It's coming. It's coming. And if he doesn't start week 1, he's taking the job within a couple weeks because Fields looks electric. As for the Brandon Aiyuk situation, ladies and gentlemen, Brandon Aiyuk, if I had to guess, the momentum's there for the Niners to make a Cleveland Brown trade because of Amari Cooper. Because Amari Cooper is not extremely happy with his current situation. They gave him a little raise, but Amari Cooper wanted the big dog contract. He doesn't feel loved. He probably feels underutilized. He probably wants a ring. He might want a ring chase at this point in his career. So Amari Cooper probably would love to go play with the 49ers. And Amari Cooper solves a lot of the Niners' problems right now because Aiyuk's not on the field right now. Aiyuk is a problem. The continuity of the offense, the cohesiveness of the offense is in jeopardy right now. Holdout players always get injured or play badly, especially in San Francisco. See Nick Bosa, see Deebo Samuel, both put out bad products during their holdout years. It does something to you. The Niners are running the risk of having Aiyuk not serve them anywhere close to how he should serve them in 2024 based on his holdout. At some point, you got to shiat or get off the pot. And I think Shanahan and John are saying, look, you don't dictate what you're doing or where you're going. But at this point, we're making the call that we'd rather have Amari Cooper than you're sitting there on the sideline hampering the team. I'm not saying I'm against Aiyuk. I'm in Aiyuk's corner. The Niners crapped the bed. They diarrheaed the bed by waiting so long and letting Aiyuk's price tag go up. And I don't want to hear they offered him the right. They didn't offer him shit. They didn't. They talked about numbers. They threw numbers out, then those numbers expanded right in front of everyone's face. And Aiyuk almost signed at one point. This is true, but they waited too long. If you would have attacked Aiyuk's contract early on, like I said, you would have had Aiyuk locked up and had cohesiveness in this offense. Now you're running the risk of this thing getting derailed because your starter is not getting involved. You have a starter that's not helping you get things going and keeping the ball rolling and getting Brock Purdy, who still needs a lot. He has a lot to learn, still needs a lot of ramping up to do. You can't have half of your offensive weaponry not there. Brock Purdy's going to be hampered by it. Then you got Brock Purdy's long-term contract. You just got him. You don't want him to have any struggles in 2024. So Kyle and John are saying we got to think of a solution here that's best for us. Not best for Aiyuk, but right now we can maybe get Amari Cooper. That solves some problems, gives us a veteran. We're going to ball out in 2024. Try and go for a championship so that I don't get fired a year and a half from now because everyone thinks I'm bad 1 minute and good another minute. Because that's the way the Shanahan vibe has been going. And I'm a big anti-Shanahan in terms of his decision-making personnel, in terms of his contract tactics, how he waits until June, July, and August to sign deals, has Deebo Samuel playing bad, keeps Jimmy Garoppolo, doesn't switch over to Trey Lance, tries to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo, has a goodbye press conference, and Jimmy Garoppolo weasels his way into another season, and you continue to misuse Trey Lance, and here we are. Brock Purdy's here. Brock Purdy's going to absolutely be their future. No doubt about it. Is he a top 5 quarterback? No, he's not. Those people have goggles on that are this thick, but he's still a good quarterback. he's Jared Goff good. If you think Brock Purdy's Josh Allen good, you're probably in the wrong place right now. But that's okay. We still want you here. You're still here to consume content. That's fine. We do NFL news like nobody. We go live when news breaks. Anytime news breaks, we go live in the NFL. Okay? That's the way we roll. Subscribe if you're new. Hit the thumb up button on your way in the door. But I would say that Cleveland has the momentum right here. I just don't know if JD5 is going to say, hey, why don't we put this thing in motion and end this thing? Send over whatever we need to send over. If you got to get rid of, good God, I don't know who they'd send. If it'd be Dotson or McLaurin. But at this stage in the game with Amari Cooper likely the target in place, we don't have confirmation that that deal is some sort of like written out, proposed deal. But if this is what's maybe being talked about, sometimes the news drives what you might see. Sometimes that lets teams know what the community, what the fan base is expecting. And so a tone can be set just by a bunch of breaking news, people leaking information to try and see, let's float this, let's float that. Hit that thumb up button. We got 687 people in the building and only 74 thumbs up. So smash that button, hit it, do it live. Appreciate you all. We got 300 on X. We got 300 plus on YouTube. If you haven't joined me on YouTube yet, make sure you get on over from X to subscribe because we're not always on YouTube. Or we're always on YouTube. We're not always on X. Let's open the phone lines up and talk about this. Puka Nacua injured today. Brandon Aiyuk may be on the move, says Matt Mayako, one of the lead beat reporters in San Francisco. This isn't coming from a bunch of speculative Instagram accounts where you've never seen the kid's face. He's got mom cooking the meatloaf. He's down in the basement and he's in high school and he's posting Brandon Aiyuk trade ideas. Well, this is not that. This is Matt Mayako kicking around some things. And according to Matt Mayako, according to this report right here, let me put these two things aside. This is what Matt Mayako said. And it appears more likely than ever, right here. Let me drag this over. It appears more likely than ever that the Niners are willing to make a trade. It might end up that Aiyuk to determine the next move. Aiyuk has definitely got a say because guess what? The team that acquires Brandon Aiyuk, here's where people get confused. Here's where people don't understand, I guess, ball, you could say, and where people don't understand the NFL and contracts and the way trades happen. Do you understand that a team that's receiving Brandon Aiyuk will not trade for Brandon Aiyuk unless they have a long-term deal in parallel ready to be announced when the trade is executed? Meaning that there's a 90% chance or higher that if a trade ends up happening, let's say with the Browns, a contract is also announced alongside in parallel. Because nobody's trading draft capital and a player and sacrificing to get the younger player to have them on their fifth-year option. So when someone says Brandon Aiyuk doesn't have any play here, that Brandon Aiyuk doesn't have leverage, the reason Matt Mayako says it might be up to Aiyuk to determine the next move, it's because Aiyuk has to say, yeah, I want to go there. If they said we're trading you to New England and he doesn't want to play with Drake May, he could say I'm not signing a long-term deal with New England. Guess what? New England's off the table because guess what? New England's going to say, well, if he's not going to sign with us, if he's not even willing to sign an extension, we don't want Brandon Aiyuk. We're not going to give you draft capital for a guy who doesn't want to sign a long-term deal with us. Goodbye. That's where Aiyuk does have leverage. People that say he doesn't, they don't know ball, they don't understand how contracts work, they don't understand how trades work, and they need to stop running their mouth about it because Brandon Aiyuk does have leverage. That's why Matt Mayako just said that statement. Now dial into the phone line if you want to have a conversation about this.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial in. We got a super chat here from Eric Barber coming in with a $100 wad. Eric, where are you? Eric, you still here? Eric dropping loads on the screen.
$50. Give me $50, holla. Get by the brother, Smitty. Give me $50. Oh, yeah.
Eric Barber, absolutely dropping loads in the chat tonight. Eric, appreciate you. Eric, are you still here? I hope you're still here, pal. I'm sorry it took me so long to read that. I was ranting and raving. Eric in the building. Eric, where are you at? Dial into the phone line. Phone lines are open. Dial in. Let's have a conversation specifically about Brandon Aiyuk in a trade or a no trade, or specifically Puka Nacua if you can. I'll certainly answer another question if you got it, but make sure if you dial into the phone line, the first words out of your mouth are something along those lines, or I'm hanging up on you. Alex from San Diego, don't screw up. You're live. Hello, Alex. Are you there? This is Miss Smitty. I'm screening the phone calls today. Hold on. I'll put you on with Smitty, okay?
Are you ready?
Okay, go. Alex, you're live.
All right, would you take, if Aiyuk is gone and San Francisco doesn't bring in like an Amari Cooper or something, do you think that Juwan Jennings is like a viable option?
19 catch Juwan? No. Look, you Niner fans, I assume you're a Niner fan because you're in California. You Niner fans think Juwan Jennings is this glorious wide receiver. 19 catch Juwan Jennings. He had one touchdown last year and 19 catches. Your Ronnie Bell, who I like a lot more than Juwan Jennings, had, I believe, 17 or 15 catches and 3 touchdowns. Juwan Jennings is not a number 2 wide receiver. He is a very good possession guy that grabs a good football when you need it. He's a dog when it comes down to that. But when he catches a ball once every 4 games and your entire fan base goes, he's a dog! Did you see that catch? Holding people back. He's a dog! This guy's not a dog. He's good. He's a good possession wide receiver when you need it. But the guy doesn't have much to bring to the table. He's good. He's He's not great. He's a good third wide receiver. He is not your wide receiver 2. Look, Pearsall's your 2 if push comes to shove. No doubt about it.
So if Aiyuk is gone and you only really have like Debo or Kittle on the team, would you draft Debo over guys like London or Adams or Evans?
Well, you still got Christian McCaffrey, you forgot to mention, but who catches a lot of passes. But yes, Debo Samuel, bro, go watch my Debo Samuel video. I mean, Debo Samuel, I just did this video yesterday. He's a gold mine in round number 2. A lot of the reasoning behind it doesn't even anticipate an Aiyuk trade. A lot of it is Aiyuk is holding in / holding out. So the likelihood of injury is extremely high. Debo Samuel is going to the mother freaking moon this year. Doesn't matter what happens. If Amari Cooper lands on the team, then we have a little bit of a situation where we just got to say, okay, does that change anything? Probably not, but because Aiyuk's still going to consume a lot. But Debo, the thing about Debo is he's got planned usage. He's got plays that are designed for him. He's kind of compartmentalized. His workload is kind of there no matter what. Everybody else is kind of dividing up the receiving work. He's got designed runs. He's the best yak yardage player in the NFL by far. He's the best yak yardage player probably in the last decade in the NFL. This is an absolute monster that walks into this season, in my opinion, primed for a top 10 wide receiver finish. Yards per catch, Debo in the last 5 years, bro. 9, 8, 1, 14, 5. Yards after contact, 5, 8, 1, 5, 6. Broken tackles for wide receivers, 2, 1, 1, 7, 4. I mean, in this 2021 season, 18.2 yards per catch was unbelievable in 2021. Like, that was such an amazing year. He led the league in yak yards and average, which is unbelievable considering how he did it. Every catch he had was at the line of scrimmage. How do you lead the league in average and yak yards when every catch practically you make is at or behind the line of scrimmage? That's insane to get 18 yards a clip when you're catching the ball at the line of scrimmage. What a monster he is. All right, final question, Alex, then I got to move on.
No, I'm done. That's all my questions.
All right, Alex, call back if you got another one, bro. Appreciate you. Later. 425 caller. Where are you calling from? 425, and what's your name?
Is this me?
Are you 425?
Yeah, sorry, it's on a delay because I'm watching the stream.
You sound like you sound like Patrick Mahomes, bro. Is this Pat?
Dude, I've heard this before.
Hold on. Can you say I'm winning a 3rd Super Bowl in a row? This is Patrick Mahomes. You're watching the Fantasy Football Show. No, can you do it?
Man.
Just say this is Patrick Mahomes. You're watching the Fantasy Football Show. Please.
All right. This is Patrick Mahomes. Wait, what am I supposed to say?
This is Patrick Mahomes. You're watching the Fantasy Football Show.
This is Patrick Mahomes. You're watching the Fantasy Football Show.
Yes! Bro.
What's up, Smitty?
Hey, Pat, what can I do for you? Hey, I'm sorry. What's your real name?
I'm a new follower of yours, but I've been loving your content.
Yeah, we're loving you.
I'm super interested in the receivers that you like, especially this year. I'm in an auction format, full PPR. 2 choices I'm thinking about building around. Either do you like Marvin Harrison and Tank Dell, or would you rather build around a DK Metcalf and a Debo as your 2 receivers?
Marvin Harrison and Tank Dell by a country mile.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Marvin Harrison Jr. is my number. You should know this, Mahomes. Come on, Pat. You got a background in this stuff. Harrison Jr. is going to be the number 1, number 2, number 3 wide receiver of the future. Tank Dell is a gold mine in round 4. Debo's older, okay? And then the other wide receiver was DK. I love DK and Debo. They're very, very good. Dell might be on the barely on the outside of those 2 guys. But Harrison Jr., especially in Dynasty long term, is a mile above everybody. Easy call. And you love throwing him the ball, bro. He loved that spiral you got. He'd score 15, 20 touchdowns in KC, Pat.
Yeah. Dude, going back to Pat Mahomes, are you a believer in Rashee Rice this year, given the uncertainty of his suspension?
Sure. I mean, honestly, like at this point, without hearing anything yet, and I don't want to say that I'm backing down on what I believe Texas law is going to try and implement during the trial. Mm-hmm. But the fact that this thing isn't moving, it's moving at a snail's pace, and we've talked about that. There's definitely a strong chance, even dating back months ago, we talked about this, that this gets pushed into 2025. He will eventually have a half a season suspension minimum, but it doesn't feel like it's now. It doesn't matter right now, at least. And I think you just grab as many of these 3 wide receivers as you can, especially in best ball with Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes, you yourself, you're going to we should be asking you this question. But I truly believe that Worthy, Hollywood, and Rashee Rice and Kelsey, this is going to be a 50 total touchdown season for Pat Mahomes and yourself.
I love it. Appreciate it, Smitty.
You're scoring 50 this year, pal. All right, appreciate you, Patty. Hey, you better call in more. You're a fan favorite already. Everybody drop a frog emoji. Everybody drop a frog emoji right now, and you let Pat Mahomes, fake Pat Mahomes, know how much we want him to call in like daily. All right, I'll be expecting you better dial in. All right, later, bro.
All right, later.
He laughs like him too. I think that's how Patty laughs. I'm not sure. I think that's Pat Mahomes. I think he just tried to pull a fast one on us, but Smitty's too observant for that kind of thing. 707 caller. What's your name and where are you calling from? Look at the emojis. Got frogs up and down.
This is Montana from Phoenix.
Montana from Phoenix. You got a tough follow there with Pat Mahomes on the phone. I'm sorry. What was your name again? From Montana.
Montana, like Joe Montana.
Okay. It confused me. I'm like, this is Montana from Phoenix. Okay. I wanted to call you Phoenix from Montana. Okay. Montana, what can I do for you?
So I have
Pat
the number
Mahomes,
1 pick in redraft, PPR, and I'm sold that I'm not taking CMC. I want to go against the grain. I actually have Bijan as my number 1 running back. I thought no one else did. But now I'm thinking that I want to take CeeDee Lamb. And I just want to know, would you think it's crazy if I had CeeDee Lamb or Bijan as my number 1 pick instead of CMC?
No, Bijan's my number 1 running back this year. And you can cry about that if you want, if you're a Niner fan watching. I love CMC. No one dislikes CMC. But you're talking about being a certain age. You're talking about the idea the injury is going to strike at some point. You're also talking about 28 years old is a historically, drop-off year for running backs. So you mix all that together on top of the fact that we are probably looking at either Christian McCaffrey being ridden into the ground because Shanahan doesn't know how to dial him back, or They dial him back, and he scores less fantasy points. So I think there's an injury waiting. And keep in mind, and I'm not trying to say this from a bitter perspective, because I did lose I'm talking thousands and thousands of dollars off of Christian McCaffrey last year. He sat out the entire second half of Week 17, which screwed a lot of people. And I'm just saying the injury hit, injuries struck. He's struggled with some knee issues, and he played through it. We've definitely held our breath a lot last year. It wasn't one time. There was multiple times where we're like, is he going to stay out? Is he going to? So I think injuries do catch up. Bijan, anybody can get hurt, but he's young. He's getting injected into one of the most explosive offenses under Zach Robinson, who comes over from the Rams, and what he did with Puka, what he did with Cooper Kupp and Kyron last year. Zach Robinson is now the offensive coordinator in Atlanta. This is going to be a glorious offense. It's going to light it up. They're completely backed up at the QB position. The safest QB room, I didn't say the best, but the safest QB room in the National Football League with Kirk Cousins and Penix Jr. Bijan to the moon. I will say, however, that Hill has become my number one wide receiver over Lamb and over Jamar Chase, because you have Chase holding in, you got Lamb holding out, and the injury risk goes up extremely every single day. This is what I say about Aiyuk. If I'm going to say it about Aiyuk, I better say it about the other two. So Tyreek Hill, who just was coined the number one player in the NFL, he just got a raise and became the number one guaranteed money getter in the NFL at the wide receiver position, and he's out there, and his offense is just married to him. So I'm going to say Tyreek Hill moves into the one spot if you're going wide receiver, and I'm going to say Bijan's my number one if I'm going RB. That's my case.
Right. Yeah. I'll wait and see if CD holds out. If he does, I might even.
But he is holding out. I don't think you're hearing me though, Montana. I'm saying that because he's been holding out to this point, his injury risk is going to the rafters. He's already a significant injury risk right now because of how long he sat out. Every day he sits out longer. I don't care if he comes. He's not going to sit out the season. I'm not telling you that. I'm saying every day he holds out, he's a bigger injury risk. Right now, he holds so much more injury risk than Tyreek Hill. Now, Tyreek Hill's older. I mean, so there's kind of injury risk all over the place with these top three receivers, to be honest. But I'd rather just have Hill right now. All right, bro.
Right.
All right.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, Montana. Call back anytime. Next up is going to be Marsman Rockout, then Nicholas, then Red. Marsman Rockout, you are live. Speak, young man. What do you hear? What do you say?
Yeah, can you explain why someone took Kamara in the first round?
I mean, I don't know what you're looking at, but I don't think Kamara goes in the first round in any normal scenario. So he's a great, maybe late fifth, sixth round pick. That's it. I mean, anybody that takes him in the first round doesn't know what they're doing. What do you got in this situation? What do you got in this situation, Rockout? What do you think happens with Aiyuk? Where's he going to end up?
Biasly, I would want him to go to the Commanders as a Commanders fan. But I think he'll probably stay as a 49er and they work out some deal.
I don't know.
Maybe just for...
Problem is, though, Rockout, is the longer if he's deciding to stay committed to this process, the Niners are now. It was a point where it's like, hey, Aiyuk, you got some injury risk, bro. Hey, Aiyuk, you might lose some touches to Ricky Pearsall. And so, like, you know, the Niners weren't too concerned. Now it's hampering the Niners. Now the Niners are not able to game plan as much. It's kind of like saying, hey, you're going to go prepare for a race, right, on a horse, right? You're going to do a horse race. But we're not going to give you the horse until the night before. And now you have to prepare for a race. You don't even get to practice with the horse. Like, it's very, very much likened to that, in my opinion, when you get closer and closer to the season and you're asking Brock Purdy to go out there and prepare for a season where he's supposed to take this big step forward. You got Trent Williams out. You got Aiyuk out. You got a injury potentially to Pearsall that he's coming back from in great fashion, like we predicted. Not a big deal. NFI list is never usually a big deal, but there's still a lot going on here. You know, Kittle was 30 pounds down dealing with that core injury. There's a lot of concern that at this point the Niners need to look out for themselves, not worry about Aiyuk. And that might mean that they need to shop him because Aiyuk is getting more expensive every day. And the Tyreek Hill deal just made it almost nearly impossible that his expectations will be met. So I think that a long-term deal with Aiyuk and the Niners is almost put a fork in it at this point. I think it's long gone. Unless the Niners figure out some weird way to go, we're going to go ahead and, I don't know, restructure something that we haven't really thought about yet that makes it possible. But this whole thing about Trent Williams accruing $300,000 in fines for failure to report, this is going to become problematic because there's no way Trent Williams is going to actually pay this. He'll pay it, but he's going to ask for it back in his new contract that he's asking for. So the Niners, every day that this goes on, it gets more expensive to re-sign Trent, which is why it makes sense that Amari Cooper, who his deal has the Niners saving $6 million in cap space by trading Aiyuk for Cooper, allows them to feed Trent Williams to pay for the fines that Trent Williams has accrued because Trent's not going to pay them even though they can't take him back. It just all makes sense. This Cooper deal, his contract makes sense for this thing. I think there's a lot of legs to this Cleveland Browns situation, but we'll see. I hope it's the Commanders too, Rockout. That's where I want them to go.
If it wasn't the Commanders, I think the Steelers with Fields would be better than Cleveland.
Yeah, it's tough to say, man. It's tough to say. All right, hang tight, Rockout. Let me go. Put yourself on mute real quick. Let me go over to Nicholas, then to Red, then to Nick from Cali. Nicholas, you're live. What do you hear? What do you say?
Hey, I just wanted to ask one question, and then we can do whatever you want.
Okay, thanks.
So I'm in a keeper league, 12-man league, and I'm picking 12. So I have the option to either choose Kamara with the 12th pick or keep Achane in the 13th round, and I'm having a tough time choosing between the two.
Why are you having a tough time with that?
Well, I don't know. I just think Achane is a little risky, but so is CMC. So
finish him.
They're both a little risky, so I don't really know.
Call terminated.
Achane, is someone taking a leak? I hear something in the background there. Mute yourselves unless you're not talking. If you're Red, you can unmute. Red, you're live. But I don't want to hear this Achane's a risk blasphemy, especially if you're keeping Achane in what do you say, round 13 or 14 or 15? It was in the teens. This guy's keeping Achane in the teens, and he's you're going to tell me that, and then we're going to do whatever I want? Well, what I want is to hang up. I'm not going to listen to that trash. Go ahead, Red. You're live.
How you doing, brother?
What's up? I'm good.
I had a quick question for you. How are we feeling on Pittman Jr. this year? I think I take him in as a flex.
I like him as a flex, sure. I think the problem becomes when people take him in round 4. That's not a good place to draft Michael 100%. Pittman Jr. Michael Pittman Jr. is a really good receiver, but I get such a bad rap for hating Michael Pittman Jr. when I don't hate him at all. I just cut him down a size when someone says, oh, he's worth a 4.2. He's not going to have a great year. He might have a great year, but A.D. Mitchell also is capable of being the number 1 wide receiver by the end of the season. It may not be extremely likely to you guys, some of you. We got 1,000 people in here right now. We got 495 on X. We got 517 on YouTube. Punch the thumb up button here on YouTube. And all you on X, make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel because I don't go live on X every time. I dabble in it just to get more people to be aware of the show. Make sure you come over and subscribe. But yeah, I Pittman I like, bro, but A.D. Mitchell is the more talented player. I know everyone doesn't want to hear that, and I get it. Some of you aren't ready for that. But A.D. Mitchell comes with a lot of risk. But I do believe that Pittman is worthy of being a elite wide receiver 3. But the problem is he does not go there typically in drafts. Maybe in redraft, home leagues, he does, but there's a lot of time that people just take him way too high. Pittman Jr. going early second round on ESPN. I don't think I've seen that on the regular. That could be like your league or certain scoring or something. I've not seen that. Let me pull up the 80. Let's see if Young's telling truth on that one. He might be. But let's go ahead and look at, we got non-best ball ADP. We got ESPN over here. Michael Pittman Jr. Where's Michael Pittman Jr.? Michael Pittman Jr., ESPN has Michael Pittman Jr. at 27 overall. So a little bit of cap there, but that is third round. That's third round. That's crazy. That's still absolutely ludicrous. So half truth there, but not in the second round. But he might slip in there from time to time, but that's insane. Like, that's a waste of a pick. That's where I get called a Pittman hater when I start going on a rant going, why are you drafting Pittman Jr. in the third round? What in the hell's wrong with anybody? All right, Red, Red, mute yourself. Hold on a second. Nick from Cali, you're live.
Hey, how's it going, Smith?
What's up, bro?
So I have a question. I have on my roster, I have JSN on the bench, and a guy in my league hit me up for a trade, JSN for Warren.
I take Jaylen Warren to the bank this year, baby.
The Moon Man.
That's the thing.
He's a Moon Man. He's a Moon Man.
He'd be a bench piece for me too.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess if JSN's a starter and Warren's not, then you have a complicated situation. If that's what you're saying. If you're not saying that, then I'd rather have Warren. Push comes to shove. Warren's out there looking like an absolute monster right now. Just taking on. I got a clip here on my Instagram. Just taking on defensive players, creating fights between the offense and defense because he's absolutely just smashing defenders. Let me see if I can find the clip here of Jaylen Warren. I got it somewhere.
Smith OC, so the run game's about to get way better.
I mean, Warren is looking like a monster. I don't know.
And that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking to have Warren on the bench just to have a guy that has that, like you said, top 10 potential.
I mean, he caught 60 plus balls last year. Like, you don't do. Here's Jaylen Warren's game log. You don't catch 60 plus passes and have 0 touchdowns very often, which is why I think everyone doesn't know this. He had 0 TDs, but he had 61 receptions in 2023, 74 targets, 370. This is like, if you're going to argue Najee, I'm going to say, why would you want Najee when this guy's already got a little less than half of the work just off receptions? And if they split rushing attempts, then guess who's got a bigger timeshare? Warren by a mile. So Warren's the guy to own because he owns the receiving department. That's like saying you want to buy, I don't know. The examples are endless, really. But you're going to buy something that is sitting on the lot, like a house on the lot of somebody owns the lot. Like Warren owns the lot. He has the wide receiver room. So I don't know why everyone's on Najee right now when Warren's been getting hype and it's been building, and I just think eventually he's going to take over. I like Najee. I do like him. I don't love him. I like him, but he's disappointment prone. And he's also struggled with that injury, that foot injury we didn't hear about until the end of the preseason. And then we're like, he's got this Liz Frank. He had the plate in his shoe. There's all kinds of concern all year. He's struggled to look quick and stay quick. He's dropped weight. I don't know how that's going to go. I love Jaylen Warren. He looks like an absolute wrecking ball. All right, Nick, appreciate you. Anything else real quick?
Thank you.
All right, later. Rock out. Anything else, pal? Rock out.
Yeah,
hello.
some reason ESPN got Pacheco at 24th rank overall.
Yeah, Pacheco in non-best ball is going higher than I want, but I still love him. I love him in the third round, but I don't think I'd draft very much Pacheco in round 2. I think it's you're getting away from some of the reason why we love him and the value. But would I take him in the 2-3 turn? Maybe, where he's kind of essentially a third round pick. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of
the middle third.
Yeah, third drafted player. I think is the best way to think of Pacheco. If he's your third drafted player, you're getting a 10, 12 touchdown running back. It's fantastic. That's fine. But in best ball, he's going to the 4th round. In best ball, we're crushing with Pacheco in round 4. All right, hang tight, Rock Out. You can mute real quick because I got a full. Well, you can stay there if you want. Brock just left. I'm just gonna go over to. Or no, Brock, you're live, and then over to Travis.
What's up, Smitty?
What's up? Keep it speedy.
Okay, quick question. I just joined the video, and I don't want to rewatch all of it. What happened to Puka Nacua?
He injured his knee. Ice bag on it, jogged off. Some reports saying he's going to be okay, but most of the people saying he'll be fine they're hoping for it. They don't know. Nobody knows. I'm sure we'll have some testing done on it. You can easily jog off with an ACL tear. You can easily jog off with a PCL injury. You can also tear your ACL and not tear it completely in half. There's a lot of things that could happen, but he has a big ice bag on it, and this guy plays 110%. There's a big injury risk with Puka Nacua. I'm starting to fade Puka Nacua at 8, 9, 10, 11, and I'm starting to even say to myself, I like him at the 12, 13 turn. I do, but there's a lot of potential for a letdown this year for a guy that did not command the goal line work and the red zone work that Cooper Kupp commanded. Like Cooper Kupp he has more receptions in the red zone, in the red zone, more receptions, more touchdowns, and more targets. And he played far less games. That's not an average per start or anything. So I'm not saying Puka can't grow in those categories. I'm just saying everybody's drafting him at 8, 9, 10, and they think it's ridiculous when someone wants another player over him. I don't know. He plays so aggressively too. If there's any player in the National Football League that I think can hurt themselves, not get injured on a freak play where someone's helmet hits them, like if there's a player that's going to injure themselves, it's Puka Nacua and Kyren Williams and potentially George Kittle. Those are the three players that absolutely go 100,000%, and it's a great quality. It's just Puka's a big injury risk, but I love him. I just don't know that I'm 100%, sold on his deep into the mid to bottom first round. He's like at 8, 9. He's not even at the turn really. He's at like 8 and 9. I'm taking Bijan. And he doesn't always fall, but Gibbs falls there a lot. I'm taking Gibbs over Puka 100% of the time. And that's not a knock on Puka. It's just we need to be careful. We just need to be careful. Like Cooper Kupp in round 3 is just better than Puka Nacua at 8 overall. It's not a knock on Puka.
Yeah.
It's just we got to be safe with it.
Sense.
And this injury, and we don't know what it is now, just is a harsh reminder that Cooper Kupp could win leagues in the third round. And the report that we have today on Cooper Kupp, I didn't even put this up yet. This report says that Cooper Kupp is fully back, and everybody should be excited about that. Let me see if I can find that and put it on screen. Big ice bag wrapped around his knee after leaving practice on Sunday. That was the report on Puka Nacua, and that's coming from several sources. I think this is maybe the report I have on Puka Nacua that says Puka is back to full go. Yeah, Jeremy Fowler, ESPN, says Kupp. Keep wanting to say Puka. Kupp all the way back at Rams camp. That's what Jeremy Fowler reported. I just think he could win leagues. He could win leagues for you in the third round. My fear is that this Puka injury, and I hope it's not bad, but if it's not bad, my fear is that Cooper Kupp, or if it is bad, I'm sorry, that Cooper Kupp's value skyrockets to the mid-second. And then we're out on Cooper Kupp. And then all of a sudden it's I don't know. Soap Dog dropping a $5 hauler. Smitty, my boy Jared says Corum is taking Kyron's job by 2025. Does he take a lap? Yeah, of course he takes a lap. Look, it's not his fault, Soap Dog. He doesn't know football. Like he might be a Michigan State fan or a college football fan, but he doesn't know ball. I'm sorry, he doesn't. And I'm going to send him on a lap if he thinks that the job is being taken by Blake Corum. No one takes Kyren Williams' job. If Kyren gets hurt, we have Corum and Kyren cuffed together because it's the best cuff in fantasy football. If Kyren goes down in week 5 and misses 3 games and Corum comes in and scores about 15 to 18 points a game. Let's say he has 100 yards and a touch in most of those 3 or 4 games, and someone comes in and goes, "Told you, Smitty, I told you." We're going to say, "No, we told you." You don't tell us. And we're going to tell you to go get us a Kyron coffee and get us the coffee now. No one's taking Kyron's job. The duo is important. It's essential, but no one's taking Kyron's job. He's the most electric player in the National Football League at the running back position outside of maybe Bijan and Christian McCaffrey. And Kyron Williams was a top 5 running back 50% of his games. Kyron Williams was a top 10 running back 67% of his games. He scored 21 total touchdowns if you pace, or he would have scored 21 total touchdowns if you paced out his 15 touchdowns on 12 games. And he scored 15 touchdowns on the 12 games. 12 of them were rushing. A rushing touchdown every week. He's an absolute monster, and they're struggling with some injuries right now. But this is thought to be one of the heaviest lines in the National Football League, might I remind you, which is a good thing. And it's thought to be the number 1 run blocking offense by many metrics and many predictions and many statisticians. This is the number 1 offensive line run blocking in the National Football League. And a guy that's running back 9, 2, 4, 3, 1, 9, 5, 1. You're doubting this guy? You're doubting this guy who's looking like this right now in practice? Let me show you. And you can say, "Oh, it's practice, Smitty, it's practice." Well, you think whatever you want, young man. You wait till I show you this. If this doesn't change your mind, I really can't help you. I really cannot help you. Look at this man out on the field doing work. He looks electric. He looks quick. He's catching footballs. He wants to double his receptions. That's not fast motion. That is not fast motion. Let me show you one more time. What's his name? Bill, James, whatever the hell his name is. Watch this. Kyron looks electric out there. You need to take a lap. All right, Soap Dog, appreciate you. Phone line, hang tight real quick. I just want to get through these super chats. Luke says, you see the new clip from Coleman catch in practice. Yeah, Luke, go check my Instagram. It's been on there, pal. All of Coleman's stuff's going to be on my Instagram. Though you guys got to make sure you're following me on IG, because, you know, people say, "Oh, hey, Smitty, did you see it?" Like, I'm putting all that Coleman stuff on my... Here's Coleman right here. If anybody wants to see what Coleman's been doing out there. Coleman is looking electric. The bottom clip is a replay of the catch he's probably talking about, this touchdown grab from different angles, and then there's this top touchdown grab. These are new. I keep coming in here and showing you guys all this Keon Coleman stuff. That's Kincaid, Coleman, and Josh Allen. Here's the thing that people don't know about Keon Coleman. They think, "Oh, you know, he's a rookie, he'll take time to get..." He's not taking any time. Coleman is out there with Kincaid and Josh Allen making all the plays as a unit. Coleman is playing like an elite wide receiver 1 right now in practice. And you could say it's practice, but it is real. It is absolutely the full go offense from a quarterback that was 1, 2, 1, 1, 6 in back to back years. You got vacated targets to the tune of I think 58% of the target share from last year has been vacated, which means that Keon Coleman gets to consume a share of targets that is second most in the NFL in terms of vacated targets. Keon Coleman is in a situation he cannot fail. If he stays healthy, he's going to the moon. My low ball projections, I'm disappointed if he doesn't have 80 receptions for 1120 and 10 touchdowns. That's my floor. That's not my ceiling projection. That's my play it safe projection. Josh Allen sent a text to Keon Coleman the Friday before the NFL draft and said, "You're the guy that I want. I watched a lot of receivers and I want to play with you." Fastest gauntlet drill, mile per hour data for people that say, "Oh, he's slow, he had a bad 40. This is the fastest wide receiver in the last 2 combines during gauntlet drills, clocking at 20.36 miles per hour, meaning that who cares about his 40? Once he gets up to speed, he is the quickest wide receiver at the combine over the last 2 years. Gameplay speed. He is fast. He's not okay. He's actually very quick and fast in gameplay speed terms. So people don't know what they're talking about. They're running their mouth without a single bit of information. They know nothing. Jon Snow. Yet they come out here and run their mouth. Why? Because they heard someone talk about it on another channel. Oh, I heard somebody say he's slow. Keon Coleman slow. How do you know? Well, someone told me. I watched another. First of all, you shouldn't be watching any other channels. You don't need to watch any other channels. Jaime says 1.9. Do you like AJB, Gibbs, or Garrett Wilson? Give me Gibbs all day long there. I love all those guys, though. AJB's fantastic. Best ball, AJB. Take Hurts later. It's great. But I'm taking Gibbs, push comes to shove. Probably taking Kyron at 2.2, as I would. Gibbs and Kyron or Gibbs and Achane. I'm deploying that over and over and over. All right, one more super chat, then over to Travis, who's been waiting patiently, as a Mars man only knows how to do. Smitty, do you like Irving, Bucky Irving, report out saying that he's looking like the real deal? I don't know. He's okay. I remember Tank Bigsby was looking like the real deal as well, last year. And it kind of reminds me of that situation. And I don't love that offense all that much. I know that they did fairly well last year and surprised even me, but I'm not banking on it again. Travis, you're live.
What's going on, Smitty? How you doing?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out when's the last time.
Can I ask a question? Do we have two Travises on the phone? We might. That's why. That's the problem. Sorry. Let's go to Travis Rowe, not Travis from Orlando. I'm sorry. Travis from Orlando. Hang tight. I'll go to you next. Okay. I'm sorry. Travis Rowe, you're live.
Sure. I don't care if you take him first.
Okay. Look at that. Travis from Orlando. Go ahead. You're live.
I was just trying to call and just see, when's the last time Allen's had a 1,000-yard receiver that wasn't Stephon Diggs? I don't know why we're so sure.
Wait. What is this question? Josh Allen hasn't been in the league all that long, bro. What are you talking about? Like, Josh Allen comes into the league as a rookie, okay? And everybody says he's trash. We need to get him a weapon. He comes in, looks pretty good. They bring him Stephon Diggs pretty early on. And you're asking me, when's the last time he had a 1,000-yard receiver other than Stephon Diggs? What kind of question is that? That's like asking,
you're saying Keon Coleman's going to get this 1,000 yards, but, he hasn't done that.
He hasn't done what? He hasn't done what? Listen to yourself. You're asking when's he had a receiver that's got 1,000 yards. Josh Allen hasn't played that long, bro. Let me pull up his
years.
Bro, what do you want from him as a rookie? Okay, he's not going to do that as a rookie. He's been QB
5 other years.
Okay, and how good has Diggs been for how long? What are you talking about?
He had 1,000 before Josh Allen. So I'm trying to figure out when is Josh Allen going to give somebody other than Diggs.
Hey, maybe this will help you. You're gonna have to be quiet for a second and watch this, okay? Because no one's gonna hear you talking. I'll come back to you. I'm not gonna leave you hanging. I'm gonna let you respond. But I think this will explain everything to you. There's a lot of data and science behind why Coleman's gonna be elite, and I think it's better you watch than listen to me. I don't know if that better explains it for you, bro, but you're like I said, I don't know what else I can tell you. I'll let you respond after this. You've got a player that walks into 58% of the targets vacated. He's got a quarterback that continues to develop and become even better every single year. He's been QB1, QB2, QB1, QB1 in the last 4 seasons. They got a top 10 offensive line. This guy's always gonna be slinging about 30 to 40 total touchdowns through the air, running about 10 to 15 in. This offense is electric, and you got a receiver that's going to cakewalk into 1,000 yards. You act like 1,000 yards is hard for a guy that's making touchdown grab after touchdown grab with the starters, not backup quarterback. Literally, touchdown grab, Josh Allen goes up, hugs him. Touchdown grab, Kincaid goes up and back daps him. It's like over and over and over. Keon Coleman has probably caught 15 to 20 touchdowns in the last 5 days in camp. And you're in here what? Why are you wanting this to not work out so bad? Because you have nothing on this situation.
That camp looking good last year.
You have nothing, but I didn't draft any Keon Coleman. That's what you have. You didn't draft Keon Coleman.
Oh, okay.
And you're mad about it.
I can still draft it. It's not too late.
We'll get on board.
I mean, okay. Forget Keon Coleman. Okay, what about the offensive line for the Rams? It's looking bad for your boy Tyron right now.
Look at him. He's going through a list of all my predictions, and he can't get me on this one because you got dunked on the Keon Coleman front. You have nothing. You did get dunked on. You got dunked on pretty hard.
We can't really
because we can and we will. We can and we will because Keon Coleman is sitting in a gold mine of opportunity, bro. He's doing it. Everything I'm saying he's going to do, he's doing it in practice every day with Josh Allen, where the crowd's going nuts and Keon Coleman's catching touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. This is not one or two plays. This is not a wide open touchdown grab where Keon Coleman's walking it in and people are like touching him and saying, "Oh, two-hand touch, you're down." This is Keon Coleman jumping up and grabbing footballs left and right. That's one video. I've got more videos. Here, how about this video? How about give you just a little bit more taste of what Keon Coleman's doing? Here's another one. Keon Coleman, touchdown. There's another one. These are not wide open scores. These are threading the needle, Josh Allen to Keon Coleman. Touchdown, jump ball above everybody, getting tackled in almost every one of these plays. Are we done yet? No. How about this touchdown at the top of the screen here? Look at this flip. Keon Coleman barely grabbing that, tossing and turning his body, sacrificing for the team. Look at that grab, one-handed flip. What are you talking about, bro? You're scared. You're scared that your prediction that you've already put out there on tape, receipts on screen. Here's one more for you. This back bend touchdown, which is unbelievable. This guy's catching touchdown after touchdown in practice, in tremendously tough situations. And you have what to say? What I predicted him to be, he's doing on the field right now. What do you have to prove what you're saying is true? Because I have all the facts on this side of the table, brah. We're doing it, brah.
I just feel like Curtis Samuel's the guy. I don't know. I think all of that could apply to Curtis Samuel.
Oh, that's good. Makes sense.
He could be the guy. He could be the 1,000 yards.
Okay.
I mean, Keon Coleman.
How many shares deep are you in Curtis Samuel?
Deep. I'm in deep. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I can tell.
I'm in deep.
I love how you just stroll in. First of all, let me just say something, bro. You this is not the first time you called in to try and argue with me. It's like you see the takes that I have. You try and come up with a way you could come in and try and disrupt the flow of something. Or, hey, Smitty, let's talk about Kyron now. Your boy Kyron's not looking. Look at the smile on your face. I can hear it through the phone. I can hear it through the phone. This is the number one offensive line in terms of run blocking in the league. Are they struggling with an injury or two right now? Yes, but people still very much predict this to be the number one offensive line. There is the depth, massive over there in LAR. No, not really, but no team has tremendous depth. But this is about the cohesive unit. This is about the coaching. This is about the system, too. It's not just about one specific player. They have arguably the heaviest offensive line in the National Football League. And just because someone's banged up right now doesn't mean that they're out for the season. Like, yeah, they've got a couple injuries. One significant. We'll see how it all shakes out. But you thinking Kyron Williams' downfalls here because of an injury, you've just been waiting for something to happen. You've just been waiting for something to happen so you can storm in here and go, your prediction doesn't look now good now, Smitty. Your boy's hurt. Your boy's line's hurt. Like, bro, what do you have something better you can do with your day?
I'm in on Kyron.
No, you're not in on.
Kyron.
Don't tell me you're in on Kyron when you just said your boy is not looking good now. Don't try and jump on the Kyron train. No one's letting you on the. You think I'm going to let you on the Kyron train? I'm the one conducting the train. I conduct the train, and you ride if I say you can ride. And I'm taking away your Bijan card because you've had an attitude the entire time.
Your Bijan card has been revoked.
Oh no, I need my Bijan card.
You don't have a Bijan card. Your Bijan card's gone. Do you have one additional bad point before I hang up on you?
I don't need more bets. I was just giving you a little pushback on the Keon take.
You weren't giving me pushback. Pushback is when you have a point and you actually have something. You didn't push back on anything. You pushed back and you knocked yourself over. But do you have a third final bad take before I hang up on you?
Oh, I'm done. I just had to.
Finish him. Call terminated.
God, it's unbelievable. All right, Travis Rowe, you're up. It's so wild. It's so wild. The things people think they can come in and just like what's he doing with his day? Is he sitting there just waiting? Okay, let me see what bad news strikes some of Smitty's predictions. Kyron's line got banged up. I'm calling into the fantasy football show. I'm going to type up my script. Dear Smitty, your line looks pretty bad there for Kyron. How do you feel about your prediction? I feel great about it. And to anybody that wants to argue against Coleman, you are just yapping away. Everything I've said about Keon Coleman's coming true. Just like everything I've said about JD5 is coming true. Like JD5 and Keon Coleman might be the biggest winners on this channel in two of the most glorious predictions we've ever had. Go ahead, Travis.
Yeah, it's funny. The Keon doubters or Keon haters are like, they just fall right in line with the HN and Kyron doubters. It's like they're kind of one group of people, I think.
Yeah. It's wild, though. It's wild.
But I was calling to ask about with Warren. I like him a lot. Do you see that backfield like shaking up to be something similar to what Zeke and Pollard were 2 years ago, or do you think Warren takes even more? Like, I think Pollard ended up with like almost 1,400 total yards and 4 touchdowns, and Zeke had 912.
Yeah, tough to say. Tough to say what's going to happen with this situation. I think at the end of the day, we look at it like this. We have a guy in Jaylen Warren that pulled in 60-plus receptions last year, and he's motivating everybody in camp right now. He's going up against the biggest defensive players and knocking them down, and it's crazy. Let me find the footage of that so you guys can see it. But Jaylen Warren is on a mission. It doesn't feel like... It feels like one of those things where everybody's like, just like we knew Fields was going to take over. We knew Fields was going to take over. We just knew it. I think this is the same thing. There's a little bit of a delay in how people react to this kind of stuff. We jump on it quicker than anybody. But this guy's out there. This guy's out there knocking over bigger defensive linemen. This is like old school high school drills. He's on the right, and he's going against the biggest, defensive players, causing fights. Everybody's screaming and yelling at each other. The offense is absolutely in his corner, and he's on the right, and he's taking down defensive players left and right. And so what this tells me, and this is just what comes to mind in terms of, like, someone asked me about Jaylen Warren versus Najee, something we don't have a strong feel on. It's all speculation at this point. We're guesstimating, right? That's why my channel's here. This is what I do. I predict things. Am I always right? No. But do we get a lot more right than we get wrong? Yeah. Or we wouldn't be here with 1,000 people in the watching, 500 from X. How many do we have from X right now? 650 from X right now and 500 from YouTube. Like, we wouldn't be here if we missed everything. What I see when I've got to speculate this situation, because we don't know, you have a guy out there that's dominating the biggest defensive players and putting on a show for everybody to watch. What do you think that means? That probably means he's the best pass protector, of the two. Like, is this the guy you want protecting your quarterback's blind side when a player slips through and is about to level Fields or Russell Wilson. Like, this is a guy that's proving he's the best pass protecting back of the two. And therefore, he brings 67, I believe it was, receptions to the table. This is a guy that is going to have a kung fu grip on half of the work. Doesn't matter if Najee's the first and second down guy. You have a kung fu grip on half of the work, the receiving department. All he needs to do is carve out even half of the rushing attempts, and now he has 75% of the job. It's just, it's like deductive reasoning. Like, who is the guy that's going to get more work?
Right.
It's the guy that's getting locked into the receiving work, the guy that's the best pass protector, the guy that's dominating the defense in a very good defense, might I remind people. He looks like a wrecking ball out there. And if you're going to motivate coaches to give you playing time, it's doing stuff like that, where the whole team's riled up and they're like, this guy's an absolute monster. Let's get him on the field and let's see if the opposing defenses can take on Jaylen Warren. Jaylen Warren is a monster. Absolute monster.
And is Najee Harris, is this his last year under contract with them?
Najee Harris, let me look up his contract.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I just did actually. It is. They voided his 5th year, so they didn't pick up.
Yeah,
his
that's
5th
right.
year.
That's right. $13 million.
So
First round. Yeah.
They're not invested either.
No, and Ron Navy called up one time and said, hey, this is a good thing. And I didn't look at it that way. I know it was Ron's take, that it's going to motivate him. Like, the last thing that a player wants is the team to say, yeah, we're not picking up your 5th year. It's not a good thing. Like, Jaylen Warren season's upon us. It's coming for everybody. And you can either be on board or not. It's fine. Shoddy, appreciate you dropping this $2 earlier. And then Eric Barber with the $100 hauler, appreciate you. $5 hauler from Leland, who says, is it possible that Josh Allen can put Keon Coleman in position to have a rookie year similar to Jamar Chase did? Absolutely. That's what I'm here to tell everybody, is that we're looking at arguably one of the best rookie wide receiver seasons that we could get out of a player. And I think that Marvin Harrison Jr. and Keon Coleman are the number 1 and number 2 wide receivers from the rookie wide receiver player pool for 2024. Now, am I saying Neighbors doesn't overtake Keon Coleman later? That's a whole different discussion, because we need a quarterback, in the mix. We need a quarterback to make that determination. Who's throwing the football to Neighbors? Because right now, Neighbors is not in this mix. Neighbors is not going to be the second best receiver. It's going to be Keon Coleman for redraft purposes. So appreciate you, Leland. Absolutely, we're looking at bare minimum 1,000 yards and 10 scores and 80 receptions. Bare minimum. TJ says, which late round running backs are going to the moon this year? Jaylen Warren's one of them. Zamir White's another one. Chase Brown's another one. Those are amazing. Trey Benson and Connor cuff them together. And this $5 hauler from Josh Patterson says, Smitty, you're broski of all broskis. I have to share my start with you in the $15 single entry contest. Hall, pick 10. Gibbs, pick 15. Okay, I like it. Gibbs is a fantastic steal. Just an absolute steal in the second round. It's crazy that some people are getting Gibbs. Unreal. Gibbs deserves to be in the top 5 or 6. Gibbs deserves to be in the top 5 or 6 overall. And there's science behind that too. But the continuum of the gigawatt component structure of Jahmyr Gibbs's workload divide has a megawatt offload that if you compartmentalize the component conjunction timekeeper and you flux capacitor out the continuum component megabolt, things just end up happening. And that's why Jahmyr Gibbs is a top 5 to 10 running back instead of top 6 to 10. Red, you're live real quick. Then I'll go to Rockout, then back to Travis. Red, go ahead. You're live.
Hey, brother, real quick for you. I'm thinking about taking, I'm the second pick overall in my league. I'm thinking about going Tyreek Hill. But in round 2, would you rather have DK Metcalf or would you rather have Gibbs?
Gibbs.
Should I go double wide receiver or should I go Gibbs? I know you just said
First of all, don't think of it like that either, too. Like, don't go, I want to go wide receiver. You never draft a position, always draft a player. But Gibbs is I just said, like you heard me just say, Gibbs is worth a top 5 overall pick. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like DK, those guys are not.
Yeah.
You're pushing your luck to put them in round 2. I don't like borrowing DK into round 2 if I don't need to. Deebo Samuel's a great second-round wide receiver. They're a handful that I would take, but the reason I'm such a big running back advocate this year, RB round 1, RB round 2, is because best player available usually presents me with those, 2 running backs. And Gibbs deserves to be in the top 5, and you get him in the second round. That's ludicrous. Ludicrous, man. And it's not even close. Gibbs is a monster. Gibbs is such a good running back. He was tied with Christian McCaffrey for the most top 3 running back finishes last year with 6 of them, bro. And he's got the number 1 offensive line in the National Football League overall. You know what I'm saying? Like, how is he even a question for anybody to be in the top 5 overall when he's got the number 1 offensive line and did what he did last year? And might I remind people that say, what about Monty? They don't know what they're talking about. Monty was on the field during all of this run right here. Monty came back after the week 9 bye. Gibbs was 2, 3, 3, 3. 4 of his top 6 finishes inside the top 3 running backs happened when Monty was full go. And Monty was actually running back 12, running back 13, running back 10 during those games. People don't know what in the hell they're talking about. They're anti-Gibbs because they missed on him and they want him to fail. Just like Travis from where is he from? Travis? The other Travis? Travis from Orlando or whatever. Just like he wants certain players to fail because he didn't have them. That's the only reason. You're anti-Gibbs. You obviously have an agenda. There's no objectivity there. Red, anything else?
One more question. If AJ Brown's still on the board going to the second round, right? I'm the second pick, so I'm the second to last pick in the second round. Should I try to get AJ Brown, or would you rather say get Gibbs?
I like both of them a lot. I like both of them a whole heck of a lot, bro. But I don't think you can go wrong. I love Gibbs. Gibbs in the top 5. Like, would I take AJ Brown in the top 5? Yeah. No. So if I'm saying Gibbs in the top 5 is something I would consider, that kind of answers the question. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But I don't hate leaning toward wide receiver when things are equal and it's close enough that I'd consider it depending on the situation, because best player available accounts for your build. It accounts for everything. All right, bro. Red, call back if you got another one. Appreciate you, bro. This
Appreciate
one is 314 caller. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, my name's Luke from St. Louis.
Luke from St. Louis. What is going on, Luke?
Hey, I want to get your input on this. Jared Goff's going really late, and he placed 7th amongst all quarterbacks last season. Second most passing yards. An elite offensive line, tons of weapons. Do you agree with his ADP?
Yeah, I do. I think the thing you got to keep in mind is that this is the most stacked that the quarterback position has ever been. I've done this 23 plus years professionally, bro. I can say with confidence I've professionally lived through the cycles of everything. The running back's dying. The workhorse running back's dead. No, it's not. Yeah, it is. No, you didn't live through when it died last time. Before Zeke Elliott came into the league, the running back died. People don't know that. Some of you are sharding in your pants, especially a lot of the content creators were barely even born. They were negative years old. Their parents haven't even had that first date yet. And Zeke Elliott was the revival of the running back. There's cycles of everything. Sometimes they morph. Running backs have morphed into a little bit of a different player, but they're still workhorses. And so at the end of the day, what was your question? I totally forgot.
I was just saying if you agree with Jared Goff.
Oh, yeah. So sometimes I sidetrack myself so bad, bro. I need Rock Out or somebody, Travis, to be sitting right here to just remind me where I'm going. Jared Goff we've never in my 23 years have never seen, and I'm telling you, I've been through every cycle, never seen all four positions, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end, get stacked to the rafters. Usually something's lacking. Like last year, weak tight ends, or we hear people say it's a weak QB pool or a weak wide receiver pool. It is stacked to the rafters, which means that there's no advantageous, let me wait on a tight end this year. Let me wait on a quarterback this year. It's stacked to the rafters. So Goff, as much as he's productive and good, how do you find room to start him? Are you really going to wait to start Jared Goff, or are you going to say to yourself, damn, AR5's here at 6.1. I'm going to take it. Hey, JD5 is here in the 7th round. I compare him with Goff, and then you're starting JD5 anyways because he's going to outscore Goff per game. Running quarterbacks rule fantasy football, bro. It's extremely hard to crack the top 5 or 6 if you're not also throwing well and running at the same time. So Goff he's a good quarterback. I'm not saying he can't float around 9, 10, 11, 12 or be a good supplemental play if you have injuries or bye weeks or whatever. But you're going to be hard pressed to find quarterbacks. Stroud and Dak have the capability, Burrow, of being in there with the running QBs, but the QB pool is too deep to be messing with Goff, bro. It's just I know it seems not right, but it is what it is.
That's fair. Are you opposed to having him as a backup?
Backup, sure, but I still would rather have a better backup. That's how much I feel. I'm not trying to discredit or crap all over Goff, but I want JD5 as my backup to my Josh Allen or AR5. I don't want Goff. I like Goff. I think they're going to do some great things. I think he's okay. I just think he can also crap the bed here and there. I'd rather have a powerhouse of rushing capable QBs. I have AR5 and JD5 in this draft I'm drafting in right now, and I absolutely love it. Travis, were you saying something?
Well, I appreciate that. I'm good.
I was just going to say on Goff, I agree with you on Goff. If for some reason you're down in the tier where Goff sits, I don't know who you would consider him being around. One advantage he does have this year is, I forget what the number is, but they play an insane number of games indoors this year.
Yeah.
And his numbers shoot through the roof when he does go indoors. So
yeah.
I'm not saying take him up high, but
no.
If you're down in that zone, that's one thing to keep in mind.
And I don't mind Goff. Let me make it really abundantly clear. I'm not hating on him at all. It's just a matter of, there's just too many other quarterbacks that I would rather have that make me never draft Goff. But Goff is my backup, and my QB goes down, you'll probably be okay. But, what are the odds that he outscores AR5 and the handful of QBs below AR5? Because AR5 is like my top 5 quarterback. Like, he's in the bottom of tier 1 to me. I think I have Josh Allen. I have Mahomes and Josh Allen fighting for 1. I got Hurts right there. AR5 is like 4 or 5 for me. I really think he's going to have that kind of year. And then you start getting into Stroud and Lamar and Burrow and Kyler over Burrow even as a running quarterback. Look, Kyler's a 18 to 23 point scoring quarterback every single game he plays. Kyler's in the elite when you look at the data for points per game when he's on the field and healthy. He's really good. So you get to a point where you're like 8, 9, and then you got to consider a bunch of players that are in the same bucket as Goff. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, he, like I said, he did play 7, but there were a bunch of injuries, quarterbacks last year, and he managed to make it through all the games. He started all of them.
Yeah. But I think it's an important point you just made is that a lot of quarterbacks went down. So it's kind of like an easy year to maybe finish in the top 10. But you're not wrong for liking him, and I don't want to disparage him or act like it holds the Detroit Lion offense back. He's clearly doing really well for Detroit, but I just don't think there's a place for me to I'd rather have Justin Fields as my QB 2 or 3, and be safe with it. But I'm more excited about that, and he's not even anointed the starter yet. He's a top 6 quarterback in fantasy per start, Justin Fields. All right, bro, appreciate you. Call in anytime.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, Biaggia, you're live. Matt Biaggia.
What's up, Smitty? Yeah, I think just touching on Kyler, he's going to be great for the Cards. Your team should be fun to watch this year for you, bud. And then the only thing I wanted to say about the Lions, so they had 2,300 yards rushing. This guy had 1,000 yards, 13 TDs, going 14.8 on underdogs. Your thoughts on David Montgomery?
I think he is irrelevant to Jahmyr Gibbs' success. I think he's a necessity to keep Jahmyr Gibbs completely healthy, and I'm fine with that. I don't wish his injury upon him. Do I want Gibbs to start a handful of games by himself? Sure. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not saying we're excited.
Will you handcuff?
Hand what?
Handcuff them. When you take both the running backs together.
Handcuff?
Would you take Gibbs and Montgomery?
Are you saying handcuff? Because it sounds it sounds like you're saying something else.
No, handcuff. Would you consider it?
Say it again. Does it sound like he's saying something else? Handcuff. Okay. Yeah, I don't need to handcuff.
Would you do it? Because you're kind of a handcuff dude.
No, I'm not kind of a handcuff dude. I am a when it matters.
You like Blake with Kyron.
That's not. You're not. But you haven't been listening to that content because people think you handcuff somebody, you have to handcuff everybody. He's a handcuff guy. I am a objective. Hey, this is a gold mine situation guy. I'm cuffing Achane, Wright, and Mostert, all three of them. On any redraft team, best ball team, doesn't matter. And if you're not innovative enough to understand that this is a different situation and you just want to rinse and repeat, I've been told by so many content creators, Smitty, you never want to consume one roster spot, really, with three guys from the same team. Have you seen this situation ever before in your life?
All three of the Denver backs.
Have you? No, the Denver backs are the worst situation. What in the hell's wrong with you, Biaggia? This is what I'm talking about. Someone like you might hear me say cuff on Kyron, Corum, on Benson and Connor, on the Miami Dolphin running backs, on Allen and Hall. But when we start getting to a different territory here, cuffing's irrelevant because those situations case by case are not as good. You got to be very, very careful. Cuffing the Denver backs is a waste of roster spots. What in the hell are we talking about, Biaggia?
I do a lot of underdog drafts.
It's worse to do it in best ball. You grab all three of the Denver running backs in best ball, you're wasting. You have 5 or 6 lineup spots available, my guy. For your running backs? What are you going to do? Consume? No. The answer is no.
I drafted 7 or 8 in that draft.
Yeah, I don't. No. You draft 7 or 8 running backs, you have a weak wide receiver, weak quarterback, weak tight end room.
You
need to watch my best ball content,
first
pal.
5 rounds.
You need to watch my best ball content because you draft 7 running backs, you're losing that every single one of those teams, bro.
I would say I've done it one time out of over 100 drafts.
The story's changing as he's talking. Biaggia, final point.
Well,
final point. This has been a bad call for you. But I appreciate
I love you, pal. But on Montgomery.
Okay,
David
let's go back.
Montgomery.
Good topic. Biaggia back on track. Would I cuff Monty to Gibbs? I don't need to. They're almost standalone players. Would I do it if it felt right and made sense? Yes, but the ADPs don't make it very doable on most levels. Not to mention, there's too many good players where Monty's going where I'm trying to get like AR5, McBride, things like that done, that I'm not worried about it. One has nothing to do with the other. This is not a Corum and Kyron situation. This is a 2 running backs live in this offense and they're independent from each other. In some ways, cuffing Monty and Gibbs would hamper your team. It's kind of like Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt when they both were relevant. They're both going too high, like round 4 and 5. It hampers your team to grab both. This is not a cuff. Monty's not a cuff. He's a standalone player. And that's why when I go to the cuff board, if you've noticed, bro, do you see Monty and Gibbs on the cuff board? You see You see Monty. You see Monty right here because it's a talking point. This is not a cuff. It's not a cuff.
I just know you poo-pooed Monty last year, and the guy was a beast.
I didn't poo-poo Monty last year. I didn't poo-poo Monty last year. I said that Gibbs was going to be better. and that Monty can still have 10 touchdowns. And it has nothing. This is what you're going to do, Biagio. You're not listening to me. You haven't listened to anything I've said because you're telling me that you're going to cuff the Denver running backs and that I'm an absolute
I already have.
At
least one
you
draft.
said it at least one draft when you said you did it all the time. Let me just tell you this, bro. Montgomery, you're going to come back and say, hey, Monty had 10 touchdowns. You didn't like him last year. You're making up stuff in your own head. I like Monty. Standalone Monty's not bad. 950 yards rushing, 10 touchdowns. He can absolutely do that, but it has no impact.
But you're telling me if
Gibbs.
you draft Gibbs, you probably pass on Monty.
More than likely, unless it fell perfectly.
Gotcha.
All right, hold on. Let me play this for you guys. All right. Anyway, everyone's saying that Biagio is not saying cuffing. You're like, this is Cuffgate. This is definitely Cuffgate. Biagio, you might want to go back and listen to the replay. It sounded like you were saying something different. All right, Biagio, I appreciate you. I sometimes give you a hard time, but everybody here that's new, we're not mad at Biagio. He's a normal caller. We love him. And Biagio, we'll talk to you later, pal. Call in if you got another one.
I love Amari Cooper, and I hope the Browns don't get rid of him.
Okay.
Even though I know Aiyuk is, good. Bye.
All right, later. Al from New York, then back over to Travis. Al from New York. Al, hold on one second if you could just wait. Hey, Smitty, would you rather take the 2.5? This is from G-Money in a 12-team. G-Money, you still here? Half PPR, 1 QB redraft, MHJ or HN. If it's redraft, I'm torn on it. I'd rather have Kyron, but if Kyron's gone, and he's gold at 2.5. I would say redraft, I'm leaning HN. But I love both, and if I had 2 leagues side by side, I'm taking MHJ in one and HN in the other. That's how 50-50 it is. I think if you're making me force, though, my answer. Lucas, appreciate you. Caleb Williams over Jaden Daniels.
Wrong. Boy, get lammed.
That's a good one, Lucas. I appreciate you spending $2 to write a wild statement on the screen. Shoddy, thoughts on Muth, bounce back season if healthy? Yeah, possible. Am I banking on it? No. Do I want Luke Musgrave or Goddard over him? Yeah, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to regret that later. It's definitely something that could be potentially a regretful, like I should have been on Muth. I mean, but I'm just not feeling, he has to stay healthy. I don't know what Arthur Smith's going to do with him. Arthur Smith absolutely misused Kyle Pitts. What makes you think, you know what I mean? And hopefully it's Mike Sullivan calling the shots, though, in terms of that. I don't know. We'll have to see. Zerby says, I have Bijan round 1, too much to take London round 2. Not necessarily, but I'm not passing on Kyron or HN or someone like that. Debo is kind of a safe alternative if you don't want to go double Falcon, but I'm not scared of that. No, I think they can both eat. The offense is going to be similar to an offense that kind of always produces, like KC can have Pacheco and have, Kelsey or one of the wide receivers going off, so I'm not too concerned with it. All right, now let me go over to Al from New York. Al, what can I do for you? And sorry, G-Money, for the wait. Sorry, Lucas, for the wait.
Question about the lifetime content. Is that like Patreon? Does it renew every year, or is it just one time, lifetime?
So Patreon's different than the fantasyfootballshow.com. The fantasyfootballshow.com is my ranking site, and there's a lifetime membership on there. That's completely different from the Patreon. The Patreon's basically like an app It's a live chat experience with some content that's written and locked down for Patreon members, but they're two completely different products. The lifetime membership gives you bold predictions, trade calculators, video courses, articles, rankings galore. Redraft, Dynasty, Superflex, rookie, super rookie are the freshmen and sophomores only, and then they graduate out and new rookies come in, and it's just constantly rookies and sophomores. That gets people kind of like Dynasty mindset ready. So all of that is a completely different thing than the Patreon. The Patreon's a $10 a month thing. You can cancel anytime, and the Patreon allows you to have access to what feels like this exact live chat right now, 365 days a year. So all the help you're getting and amazing people in the live chat right now, those people are pretty much the exact people you're going to see inside the Patreon in 10 different live chats, including the game day chat, which will be where we all congregate during games, whether it's Monday, Thursday, the entire Sunday night. We'll all just be checking in there going, you see that Bijan touchdown? To the moon. So that the Patreon, and for those that want to join the Patreon, let me drop the Patreon link right now in the live chat. I need to put that in the description as well, but it is right here. Let me copy and put it. Marsman Rockout just hung up. Marsman Rockout, call back if you need to say anything real quick. Join the Patreon. Here is the link. Boom. I have pinned in the live chat the Patreon link right. Well, let me pin it right now. Here it is. Okay. Let me go over to Travis. Travis, you're live, and then Al. You got anything else, Al? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So would you say the lifetime content is better? Because I'm about to do it live right now.
You buy you buy the lifetime content membership on the fantasyfootballshow.com, and we'll give you a free play of any drop you want and a standing ovation for 30 seconds, and I'll throw money around.
Well, I want to tell you something, because there's a reason behind why I'm doing it. I just did it right now. I don't know if you see it that quick. I just did it live, but let's see. The last time I called, I did it to give you your flowers, but this time I'm going to give you a whole damn bouquet on the florist and everything. The last 72 hours for me have been pretty rough. I had to take my wife to the emergency, and I'm not going to get into the details of it, but everything came out good. We have some good news out of everything that happened, but, while I was there in the moments that I couldn't, I just needed a break from things. You were there with all this content and everything, and I saw one of your other videos a couple of days ago while I was in the ER, and people were just giving me crap about, like, oh, you should stop your job, or, something happened in the world, they try to take out our guy, whatever the case is, you provide that outlet, that release, just that time away from whatever the hell else is going on. So just a thank you to you, I'm going to support you for the rest of my life, and I rock with you. You're a freaking man.
Attaboy.
That's the only reason I'm calling, bro.
Attaboy. I appreciate you, and glad things are going good with your wife. Guys, drop prayer emojis in the live chat for this man. And you did the fantasyfootballshow.com membership, you're saying?
Yeah, I did the lifetime content.
Okay, I'll keep looking for it. My email's not dragging, but I'm trying to see.
Right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. Let me see. Hold on one second. As soon as we see, we're going to give this man what video drop do you want? You name it. You want Keon Coleman? You want Breece Hall? You want Achane? You want Kyron? You want, you name it. It's yours. Bijan?
Honestly, I want them all. I want them all.
Well, I can't.
The way you rip them off at the end, I want them all.
Well, give me your favorite.
There's just so much. I love them all. I do. I love the Kyron. Right. I love the Coleman. I love the Bijan, the Harrison. They're just all great. When I say lifetime support, it's all of it, brother.
All right, we'll do the Coleman. Here we go. Appreciate you, Al from New York. Appreciate you, pal. I saw it come through. I think so. I'll check in. I appreciate you.
I'm gonna keep trying it.
We'll make that a $20 hauler as well.
Alert! Super chat alert!
All right. Anything else, Al?
That's it, bro. Thank you for everything.
Hey, Al. Glad things are going good with the wife, and yeah, we're here. Look, I'd like to say that this show is definitely entertainment. That does not just demean the accuracy or the content at all. I don't mean it that way, but I do make sure that we try and land everything, and that the quality of the content is above every single other channel. Your membership just came through. I saw it. Thank you. Appreciate you. Above every single other content out there, plain and simple. But I want to make sure this is also the most entertaining channel on YouTube, like where you guys can come and have a blast. I mean, we have a lot of laughs and everything, and there's not a better compliment in the world than somebody saying, like, you made my day better. I get through my work day because of you, or I got through this because of you. We had one guy say that, like, he was questioning his life, and he said that this show got him through it, and he absolutely changed his mindset. And it's like, that kind of stuff's amazing. So just knowing that we helped you, appreciate you, bro. And call in anytime, all right? Al from New York.
Thanks, Smitty.
Later. Travis, you're live.
Yeah, so it's kind of relating to Puka, but also in a general question. Like, if you have a guy like Puka, someone young but very valuable in a dynasty league, and they have an injury where they're going to miss a year. I know that's why it's not directly with Puka. We have no idea yet. What do you do with them at that point? I know you probably. Do you just hold them because no one's ever going to offer you the right value?
In Dynasty, I mean, it depends on it depends on the player. Like what kind of shot do they have at becoming
motion detected at the
like
front
if they're
door.
Similar to Puka, if they're a young player that is good, but they have a year-ending injury.
So let me give you a perfect example. When Breece Hall tore his ACL, we came funneling in here.
Good one. Yep.
Just absolutely heads down. And what did everybody think? He's done. He's never going to be the same. He's never going to be the same. This sucks. What happened to Javonte? What happened to Javonte was the worst case outcome because it happened the same year. That was two of our big predictions. We got kicked right in the nutsack. We rebounded, had a great year. But what a crazy, feeling you have when a player like Bijan or Breece Hall or somebody goes down, and your only thought is they'll never be the same. But look how good Breece Hall is. So I would say if they're young and they feel like they're capable of returning to form, and Puka Nacua would be, then I would say you hold them. There's just you try to trade Breece Hall coming off that ACL tear during that season, you wouldn't have got number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5 overall value. So it's case by case like anything, but you definitely, it's tough to say. Let's say Brandon Aiyuk tore his ACL right now. It would be, especially his situation, not getting the contract, then you don't know where he is in the pecking order for whatever team he's with. That's why Brandon Aiyuk partly doesn't want to go out there. If he tears his ACL, he doesn't have anything. He doesn't have a contract waiting for him. He doesn't have anything. So he's playing it safe. CeeDee Lamb tears his ACL. Every team's going to believe in him. So it's all case by case. It's really, really tough. I need to have every single player thrown at me with the scenario, and I'll tell you what I would do. Running backs are a very, very tough case because they have a short shelf life. And so Achilles tears are the worst because they take more than 1 to 2 years to recover. I don't care what anybody tells me. Nobody's recovering from an Achilles tear within a 9 month to 1 year time frame, even if they hit the field, and they certainly will not be the same for 2 calendar years. And so that's why Achilles tears, you've never ever seen a running back tear an Achilles tendon and return to being a top 10 running back or ever become a top 10 running back ever again. Achilles tears are the death of a running back. It takes too long to get back to form. The only Achilles tendon, and for those of you saying, what about Adrian Peterson? Because for some reason, people don't know what an Achilles tear is compared to an ACL tear. They're completely different. The only success story we have for an Achilles at running back, not, Kevin Durant playing basketball, or at running back where explosion is needed to hit the hole before it closes, is a whole different ballgame. The only success story we have is Deonta Foreman. Deonta Foreman is the best success story, and he's never been a top 10 running back. He's just kind of like been pretty good, but it took him 2 to 3 years to get there. So it depends on the injury, Travis. It depends on where they're at in the pecking order. What's their contract look like? It's all just very variable. J.K. Dobbins says no
just
shot.
Curious on your standpoint.
You what?
I know. I think.
What?
No. Go ahead.
No, J.K. Dobbins has very little shot at being a top 10 running back ever again. He has the unique scenario that if he is starting, let's say 14 games even, in that offense where they're going to run the hell out of the ball, he could be the first, let's say, if he was to stay healthy. But J.K. Dobbins, coming off an ACL, I know he's 2 years removed from that, coming off a fresh Achilles tendon. And what I just said was the most important thing of them all. When you tear your Achilles tendon and you come back and you rush back into action less than 1 calendar year, you are going to get hurt again because you're rushing something that you cannot rush. This is not something, I can't believe doctors in the NFL and trainers even allow a player to hit the field and take impact at running back less than 12 months from being recovered. It is idiotic. I said Cam Akers would tear his other Achilles tendon. Exactly said he would. Coming back too early from his first Achilles tendon tear. So, anyway. What else we got? Scott, I don't know if Scott's trolling himself, but he said Adrian Peterson, Smitty needs sleep. like I don't think Scott doesn't know ball. Don't hold it against him. He has no idea what he's talking about, but that's okay. Some people just don't understand. They don't get it. They don't know what they're doing. What else you got, Travis? Anything else?
Just real quick, I saw a couple questions in the chat that were pretty good. One was, what's your strategy for a tight end premium league that's also super flex? A certain way of going about it when you have both of those.
Yeah, they kind of like it. Really makes it tough. I think what I do is I sacrifice it depends on, again, this is like depending on who falls where, but I'd rather take a gamble on
the fourth pick.
Yeah, I'd rather take a gamble on that I can predict the breakout tight end in Luke Musgrave, couple him with Goddard, and I'll be okay, than miss out on the quarterback aspect. So, but it is case by case. Like if the right QB or the right tight end falls, then I'm smashing. It just depends.
Okay, and then the other one that I thought was kind of interesting was someone was asking, should they trade Derrick Henry, 2025 first rounder, a 26 second rounder for Kyren?
Derrick Henry, yes, I would. Trade Derrick Henry at 2020. Yes, absolutely. 1 first rounder and Derrick Henry for Kyren Williams, who is 3 months older than Blake Corum, by the way. So Kyren is a top 5 overall running back. I love Kyren in Dynasty. I'm scooping him up everywhere I can. I am trying my damn best to have Corum no matter what. Absolutely. I even made a trade that required me to downgrade Kyle Pitts into Dallas Goedert in order to get a late first round pick in order to take actually, did I take JD5 with that pick and then took Corum with the next pick? But anyway, I made the trade so that I had back-to-back picks. So I could take Corum, and I had Goddard, and I had Kyren. So it was a vital move for me to do that. And I think you got to sacrifice a little bit. And think of it this way, like Blake Corum's a late first-round pick, essentially, if you're drafting right now. So you need to consider trading like a 26 first-rounder for Blake Corum if you go attack Kyren in a trade.
Just make sure you solidify that as well.
Yeah. Let me see if there's any news right now on this situation, this Aiyuk situation, or anything brewing. We've got, let's see here. Mac Hollins is a fast. Mac Hollins, this guy, he only wears shoes because he has to. Mac Hollins is wild. Kirk Cousins is throwing missiles. Yeah, I don't see any news on the Aiyuk front. If anybody wasn't around when we were talking about that, this is coming from Matt Mayako, who says that it appears more likely than ever. This is the first highlighted portion. I can actually highlight it here. It appears more likely than ever that the Niners are willing to make a trade. It might be up to Aiyuk to determine the next move. And again, I was trying to tell people that, like, people think that Aiyuk doesn't have leverage, but he 100% does, because if he doesn't sign a long-term deal, if he says, I'm not signing a deal with that team, the team will not trade for him. He does have ultimate, like, rights to decide where he goes by saying yes or no to a contract. But at the same time, even if a bad team offered him the right amount of money, this guy wants the money. And I think he wants it all to be over, too. Smitty, I drafted Kelsey and Muth. Should I drop Muth for Musgrave? In a millisecond for me. Musgrave is my breakout tight end for 2024. You want to know who my TJ Hawkinson was when I predicted and ranked him higher than anybody in the entire fantasy industry, according to a rankings poll. Not one person had Hawkinson as high as I did going into year 2, and he was a breakout monster. I think that you 100% have Luke Musgrave in that mold to be that breakout top 5 or 6 tight end. I'm not saying it's guaranteed. I just think he's set up beautifully for it. Jordan Love is going to excel. He's going to lean on him. Kraft has been injured. Kraft has 2 injuries right now. So Musgrave's going to the moon. He's a 6'4". Ziggy, how tall is Luke Musgrave?
Luke Musgrave weighs 253 pounds and is 6 feet 6 inches tall.
Yeah, Luke Musgrave is 6'6", 253 pounds. This is LeBron James out there on the field.
I'm having trouble hearing.
Yeah, we
Can
know.
you say that again?
Ziggy off. This is a monster. Luke Musgrave's a monster, bro. Drop Muth and kick him to the curb.
Combine.
What?
He crushed the combine, like, athletically.
Yeah, his metrics were better than his metrics were better than Laporta's in terms of, you know, size, speed, all those combine metrics. He was through the roof. So it's going to be a wild ride. Get on board. We got 825 on X right now watching the channel, awaiting the Aiyuk news. We've got about 350 to 400 on YouTube bouncing in and out. I hope my people on X go subscribe to the YouTube channel, because I'm not always live. I'm live whenever news breaks. Whenever any big NFL news breaks, I go live on this YouTube channel. I just don't always go live on X at the same time. So I want my 826 people on X to make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube channel. So let's see some predictions here. In the chat, drop whether you're on X or on YouTube. I'll pull all comments on screen. Where do you predict Aiyuk to play football in 2024? If it's San Francisco, put the 49ers. If it's the Steelers, put the Steelers. If it's the Patriots, put the Patriots. If it's the Browns, put the Browns. I will drag as many of your comments quickly on screen so we can get a temperature of what you all believe is going to happen and what's going to go down in the next maybe hours or week or whatever. So let's throw it onto the screen here. We've got a Washington, we got a Pittsburgh vote, we got a Washington, we got Patriots, we got Ray G with the Steelers, we got another Patriots vote, we got a Washington Commander vote, 49ers from Togo, we've got New York Giants. We don't want that. Washington Commanders. You don't want that. You don't want the Giants. They won't even be able to feed neighbors. Steelers, Patriots, 49ers from Brandon. Travis on the phone line right now says Patriots, Niners. Let's see what else we got. Chargers. Chargers are still kind of a thought, but I don't know that they're fully in the mix. They don't want to pay anybody. You know, they made Keenan Allen, who was wide receiver 3 or 4, take a pay cut, or they're going to let him go for a ham sandwich.
Ladd got banged up a little.
He what?
Ladd
Ladd
banged up a little bit too.
Commanders. Washington says Rich. Cleveland says Landon. We got a lot of people coming in here with some Bills. I don't want that.
Bills.
I don't want that. I want Keon Coleman to. You know what's funny is if he ended up being, if Aiyuk got traded to the Bills, I still have Keon Coleman out producing Aiyuk. Keon Coleman, and people can say whatever the hell they want. Keon Coleman's a rising star. I just, can anybody remember, and again, all this was said before he started to do well in camp too, but can anybody remember somebody looking so good and so cemented in to the starting role as a wide receiver one for a team that had 58% of their targets vacated, for a quarterback that's the number one quarterback in the National Football League over and over and over, year after year? Can anybody remember a wide receiver looking so polished and cemented into the number one target share? I can't think of a time we've ever seen somebody pulling in touchdown grab, amazing touchdown grab after amazing touchdown grab. It's wild. And it's even wilder that people don't see Keon Coleman coming still, or they have this knack for pushing back against it because they still don't want to be wrong. They said something bad about him already. It's out there. You have time to pull it back. Change directions. Change your stance. Don't marry yourself to a bad take and just double down and throw more bad on top of it. Like, why? There's no receiver that's looked this good. It's crazy. Luke says it's a crazy take. Thanks, Luke. Hope everybody is doing okay, says Calvin. Calvin, hope the weather's not hitting you too bad. Appreciate everybody being here. Phone lines are open. Dial in, dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial in. Aiyuk would be the clear cut wide receiver one, says you, Lucas. But keep in mind, Lucas, you're here. You're here. I'm not watching your take. You're here watching my take, Lucas. So you can say what you want. You can keep trying to crap on my takes all you want, but it doesn't do anything. No one's paying attention, Lucas. No one cares. You know, you can be a positive force in the chat or a negative force. It's up to you. I try and create a place where you can have a good time and consume the content. Rock out, you're live. What's up?
So I'm not allowed to take Coleman?
You're not allowed to take Coleman? What do you mean?
That was just a joke.
Oh, Coleman to the moon, man. Coleman to the moon. You know, the two players, there haven't been two players that have looked this good as rookies before. JD5, you know, nobody higher on JD5 than this channel. No one. I don't care what anybody says. The answer is you're wrong. And Keon Coleman, these two look like polished veterans. I think MHJ does as well. These three players look like they've been in the league for 3 years. JD5, Keon Coleman, MHJ. It's so wild. They're gonna tear it up. This is the future. This is the future of the NFL in some ways.
So where's,
especially
where's
JD5
the highest
and
you would
MHJ.
take Coleman?
You what?
Where's the highest you would take Coleman?
I mean, you still got to be smart with Coleman. You cannot take him in like round 4 or 5 or do something crazy. He's a round 6, 7 staple. And I think anybody that reaches too high is literally punting the opportunity away. You cannot get too excited and take guys out of turn. You got to make sure you manipulate the ADP and take players exactly where they belong. You cannot. You've got to play the odds game. There's no way you need to take him any higher than round 6. I've taken him so much later too.
And where would you take Warren?
Jaylen Warren's going, I think, around number. Let me find his ADP. He's definitely in that territory of Najee, Warren, Zamir White.
It's like right after.
Like round 7, I would say, is probably what we're talking. But let me pull up the fresh ADP data. But Jaylen Warren is so intriguing right now. Jaylen Warren's
Yeah.
going around 87 overall. Zamir White, Brooks, DeAndre Swift. Like, Swift is a horrible pick. Like, you could get Jaylen Warren over Swift. It's crazy. 87 overall is around, that is, we're talking about, what is that, the beginning of 8? Round 8. Yeah, round 8 is crazy.
Like Swift is just a little bit more productive Pollard.
Yeah. Be crazy, bro. Round 8, I mean, that's fantastic value. I'll keep refreshing as we're awaiting the Aiyuk news. I don't know that we'll have anything yet. I think we're certainly going to hear something, whether it's shooting it down or, you know, the Niners saying we still have zero interest in trading him via Schefter or Rappaport, but it does feel very much like the Browns, the Patriots, the Steelers, and the Commanders are really the main teams in play. We talked about the Cardinals before. We've talked about the Chargers before. We've talked about the Bills before, but the Bills aren't paying for Aiyuk. I don't think it's an option. Not to mention, again, Keon Coleman is going to be better than Brandon Aiyuk. And only a Niner fan is going to really hang on to that and say, you can't say that. I can say whatever the hell I want. And I just did, and I'll continue to. Keon Coleman is on his way to becoming a star. And it's weird that people don't want. It's weird that I'm the one. If you're in here saying that's crazy talk, I'm the one that told you about Aiyuk, Lucas, and everybody else in here. I'm the one that told you about Aiyuk. So I think I have the ability to say when somebody's going to be better than Aiyuk. This is like when someone comes in and tells me when I can and cannot say who the next Tank Dell is. That's not a deep enough player. Coleman's the next Tank Dell. Coleman's the next Puka Nacua. You can't say that because I can say whatever I want. I can define it however I want. I don't have to use an exact formula as to where the ADPs were. I'm talking about winning a league. So, you do what you want. If you want to keep arguing too, keep arguing. You don't have to be here. Okay, who else is on the phone line? Alex from San Diego. Alex, what's up?
In Yahoo, you can get Coleman at like the 10th round, so he's like an absolute steal in Yahoo.
10th round. Yahoo. Hold on a second. Yeah, Steve, let's move the buddy league to Yahoo. Yahoo. Yeah, Yahoo. Okay, thank you, Steve. Thank you for that information, bro. We're moving our leagues to Yahoo.
Paying 100 on ESPN.
Wait, hold on. Steve, you still there? We're moving our leagues to ESPN. Yeah, not Yahoo. All right, ESPN 100. You said 100. Keon Coleman's going 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. ESPN.
Coleman's 120 on Yahoo.
Whoa. 120 on Yahoo. You just said he was 80 on Yahoo or 100.
No, I said round 10.
Okay, we're going back to Yahoo. You Yahoo. I haven't played on. I hate playing on Yahoo. I hate playing on Yahoo. But if I've got to do it to get Keon Coleman at 120, we're doing it. We're doing it. Mashed potatoes. Yahoo. Yeah. Yahoo. Hold on one second. 484 caller. What's your name and where are you calling from? 484.
So am I live?
You were. You weren't prepared. Navy vet, Murray, Kyron, Zamir, Tyreek Hill, DK, MHJ, Pittman, Neighbors, McBride, PPR 10 team, JD5, Chase Brown, Keon. Is this your full team, bro? Zamir, Tyreek, DK, MHJ. And then, Chase Brown. I said Jamar Chase. I was wondering why Jamar Chase was down here. Chase Brown, Keon Coleman, MHJ, Pittman. That's a great team, bro. That's a really good team. Does he have Corum? I don't see Corum. You got to get Corum, bro. You have to get Corum. It's not about doubting Kyron. It's about the McVay offense and that the 17 starts you get out of the duo is going to give you the number 1, number 2, or number 3 running back. But Navy vet, that's a fantastic squad, bro. Absolute fire. Interest says, Smitty, I drafted Kelsey and Kelsey and the Muth. Should I drop Muth for Musgrave? I already answered that one. Yeah, definitely do that. Navy Vet, appreciate you. Eric, appreciate your $99 hauler. Al from New York, your $199 lifetime membership on the fantasyfootballshow.com, where Al's never going to pay for written content ever again because he got the long-term membership, the lifetime membership, where he never has to pay for content again. Alex from San Diego, what else did you have, bro?
So, CD's holding out, and then you got Chase holding out.
What? Whoa. What did you just say? It sounded like you're speaking a different language there for a second. What?
Okay, let me slow down. So you got CD, who's holding out.
Okay.
And then Chase is holding out. McCaffrey's a little bit injury prone.
Uh-huh.
Kill's getting old. So do you think it's a terrible idea to take the Sun God at 101?
In a redraft or Dynasty?
Yeah. Redraft.
Yes, it's a terrible idea. Not because he's not capable of it, but you can trade down, man. There's no reason for this. This is like buying a $120,000 house for $300,000 because you know for a fact someday it'll be worth $500,000. Like you can't play that game. You got to be careful. If you can't trade, then I would just say that you're in a league then that sounds like best ball, and I would just do more best ball drafts and draft him at safer places in those other drafts. It makes no sense whatsoever to take the Sun God at 1.1. You're taking him at a place where he has to have 18 touchdowns and 1,700 yards to break even. Like you just can't do that, bro. Very bad idea.
So as of now,
I love him too.
I'm probably taking Brees, Hill, or CD at 101.
I wouldn't take
CD only because his situation is like one of the best in the whole league.
Yeah,
kind of hard to pass up.
I think Hill, if you're going wide receiver, Hill's fantastic. I think Brees is phenomenal. Bijan's phenomenal. Jahmyr Gibbs, even at 5 or 6, is fine, but at 1, too much. You got to trade down. But Hill, Chase, Lamb, Bijan, I definitely put my balls on the table and draft Bijan at 1. I'm fine with that. Because you could trade down to 3 and somebody else could get cute. It's not like anybody's getting cute and taking St. Brown at 1 overall, or 2, or 3. It's not happening. And if it does, then you got Tyreek Hill at 4, let's say, if you're at 4 and somebody does that. So no big deal. All right, Alex, hold on. Mute yourself.
Talking about leagues where you can't.
Yeah, mute yourself real quick. But yeah, St. Brown at 1 is not a good idea. I love him. 484 caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Eddie from Philly.
Eddie?
Yep.
Okay. What's up, pal?
Yeah, so to piggyback off of that last comment, I'm more and more convinced that I'm taking Brees at the 104. I shot a super chat like a couple days ago. I have Devon Achane as my 11th round keeper, so I'm trying to pair him up with Brees and possibly get like a Debo or some receiver in the second round if they fall. But yeah, I just love Brees this year.
How could you not? I mean, this guy was running back 2 last year, and he didn't even get going until later in the year. He was a top 3 running back 29% of the time, top 5 35% of the time, top 10 running back 41% of the time, and didn't really get unleashed until week number 5. Obviously finished on such a strong note, 2, 60, 1, and 3. Obviously that week 18 as well, number 2. If you incorporate week 18 stats, he's obviously a little bit higher than if you just incorporate weeks 1 through 17. But that finish is unbelievable. And keep in mind, he comes into a much improved offensive line that ranks around 3 to 5. They improved it dramatically. He's going to have 100% health instead of being at like 85% health last year. And he caught freaking 76 footballs. And now as a quarterback that is notorious for making his running backs absolute monsters in the receiving and rushing department. So definitely feel like Breece Hall is on his way to being electric, league winning, maybe number 1 overall worthy in hindsight. Same thing could be said about Gibbs. Same thing could be said about Kyren. Same thing could be said about Bijan. Everybody's got their own ADP and the rules you need to follow to make sure you're maximizing value. So Kyren doesn't even need to be in this conversation. But my whole point is you draft Kyren or Achane capable of being top 5 running backs in round 2 to pair to this guy. Yeah, you're heading to the moon. And in 10-man leagues specifically, or even 12-man, home leagues, grandma leagues, where it's not best ball, I absolutely love the idea of RB more than ever, because you're going to 100% have a Debo and Tank Dell as your wide receiver 1 and 2 in a 10-man league as your 3rd and 4th drafted player. You might even be able to get Tank Dell as your 5th drafted player in a 10-man grandma league. I have a league where I took Gibbs in round 1. I took Achane in round 2. I took AR5 in round 3 because it's 6 points per TD pass, and everybody consumes quarterbacks so early in this draft, and they're flying off the board. So you kind of have to decide what game you're going to play with that. I took AR5 there. Then I took Debo and Tank Dell next. That's the way the quarterbacks manipulate the wide receivers in that particular league. So you got to know your league as well. There's no world I'm telling somebody to draft a quarterback like AR5 in round 3. But if you know your league and you know what you're going to get away with, and you can drive against traffic sometimes and with traffic, and you can come out with a Debo. I have Cooper Kupp. This is a 10-man league, and I only have one 10-man league, and I admit proudly that I play in one grandma league. Everybody should have one grandma league. It makes you feel good. I've got Cooper Kupp, Tank Dell, Debo Samuel as my 3 wide receivers, and I didn't go wide receiver until round number. Let me pull up the draft. I'm actually probably on the clock in that draft. Let me see. Maybe I'm misremembering what round I did what. Hold on a second. Let me pull it up. All right, I took. I'm on the clock too. I took Gibbs, Achane, Debo, AR5. I'm sorry. I took AR5 in round 4. Gibbs, Achane, Debo, AR5, Cooper Kupp, Tank Dell. That's a 10-man league. Unbelievable. What else you got? Anything else, Eddie?
Yeah, so our league, we're drafting in 2 weeks. Quarterbacks flew off the board last year. I was pretty high on Justin Fields last year. But I'm looking at AR5, definitely in that 4th, 5th round range to secure that. And then I've also thought about possibly getting JD5, round 9 to 10.
Love it.
Just that elite upside. But honestly, I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah, I love taking JD5 as my second quarterback in any draft, bro. Any draft. It's a smash. All right, hang tight, Eddie. I'm going to put you on hold real quick. Let me go back over to Travis. So just mute yourself if you could. Think of another question. If you got another one, great. If not, no problem. You can hang up too whenever you want. But I'm going to have you put yourself on hold real quick. Travis, what else you got here before I jump off here? We got 1,294 people in the building. I'd hate to leave right now. We got about almost 1,000 people on X right now in here. We got 457 YouTube people. The phone lines are wide open if anybody wants to call in. Phone numbers on the screen right here. So dial in if you want to have a question answered. But go ahead, Travis.
Yeah, just touching on Coleman and other young receivers. It seems like there's a large group of people who are still afraid to take rookies and even some second-year receivers early, and they're missing the bus because we're 2 years, almost 3 years into that being something that happens every year. And I think every year you're going to see more and more young receivers go off. It's becoming a young man's game, partly because they're, incorporating the college game a little bit more and, just the way the game has gone. I mean, the year where Watson and Garrett Wilson were rookies, they didn't get drafted in a lot of Yahoo and ESPN leagues, and, so it's slowly starting to catch on, but people need to realize just because they're rookies that it's no longer like you used to talk about where Larry Fitzgerald had 800 yards or something.
Yeah, Kyle, mute yourself real quick,
not
Kyle.
Like that anymore.
Yeah, totally. And the running back position's always been great. Let me put this caller on hold here, and then we'll circle around real quickly. Who is it? 6. Well, let me see. Let me add him. 626 caller. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, what's going on, brother? I just wanted to know, how are you attacking Superflex this year?
All right, hold on 1 second. I'm going to come to you in 1 second. I'm just getting your name and where you're calling from.
All right.
What's your name and where you calling from?
My name's Tyrone, and I'm calling from North Carolina.
Okay, from NC. All right, hold on 1 second, bro. Just mute yourself if you could, and I'll be right back to you're live right now, but just hang tight. Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. Like Travis was saying, running backs have always translated really well into the NFL. You could be top 10 running back as a rookie. QBs never. Wide receivers never. You know, back to Larry Fitzgerald, and as Travis said, I always use that as like an example because that's what I remember to be like kind of the final time frame of where wide receivers were never fantasy football relevant as rookies. And even then you'd have like in that right around that Larry Fitzgerald time, 900, 800, 6 or 7 if you're lucky. Hard to be relevant as a rookie. Tight ends are the only position of the 4 now that don't translate immediately, and they can. Laporta just proved it. It's just harder for some reason it's harder for tight ends to stay healthy going into a much more aggressive, NFL. But, maybe that changes as well, but we are seeing a lot of rookies struggle as tight ends. There's just more to learn. The game doesn't translate quite as quickly as wide receiver, running back, quarterback. But quarterbacks now can translate immediately. When people think that JD5 can't be a top 5 fantasy football quarterback as a rookie, or when people make, in my opinion, ignorant statements like, oh, he's just going to run and he'll be lucky he'll probably have a lot of interceptions and have like 19 touchdowns passing or something small like that, or 15 because he's a rookie. I just don't think people realize what AR5 just did and what JD5 will likely do. JD5 has looked more ahead of schedule than any QB I've ever seen in camp, and I think he's going to take the league by storm. He's going to be absolutely amazing. And 346 caller, what's your name and where are you calling from? I'm going to put you on mute or have you put yourself on mute real quick, but I want to get you on the phone line here. So what's your name and where are you calling from?
Michael from Houston.
All right, hang tight. Just mute yourself real quick, Michael. I'll be right with you. So, yeah, Travis, you're right. I think, especially this rookie wide receiver pool, when you're drafting like on Best Ball, promo code Smitty. If anybody wants to draft with us at midnights, I don't know if we'll draft tonight, but I'll drop a private link before we leave here. If you guys want to do a private league together, I'll drop a link, first come, first serve. I might do that here in a second. But Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. They'll match your first deposit at Underdog by just clicking this link right here. So smash this link. I'm going to pin it right now and sign up, and they'll match your first deposit 50%. But when we draft tomorrow or the night after, we'll be taking some of these rookies. And my last point on what Travis is saying about rookies translating, this wide receiver pool is the best rookie wide receiver pool to bank on, like A.D. Mitchell, Coleman, Marvin Harrison Jr., Neighbors if his ADP is right. Leggett is even fantastic. This is such a good rookie wide receiver pool. You can lean on it from a fantasy perspective at your wide receiver 3, or in some cases your wide receiver 1 in MHJ. Coleman's going to be your wide receiver 3, but I think he plays like an elite wide receiver 2, bare minimum. So this is totally different.
All right.
So anyway.
I got to jump, Smitty.
All right, pal. Appreciate you.
I'll watch the rest off the phone.
All right, man.
Appreciate it.
Later, bro. Let me go over to who called in first. Kyle, then Michael, then Tyrone. Kyle, you're live, Kyle. What can I do for you?
Hey, how are you feeling about JT and Michael Pittman this year?
Pittman's good. I think he's getting way overdrafted. That's why I never draft him. ESPN, somebody said he was going 25 to 27 overall. That's just way too early. He's not a third drafted player. He should be nobody's third drafted player. I like Pittman, but A.D. Mitchell could take over as the number 1 by the end of the year. Not saying it's for sure, but Pittman is not a elite wide receiver 1. He should be a team's elite wide receiver 2 for the team. So he's in a great spot. He could have 10 to 11, 12 touchdowns, but he does not belong as somebody's third drafted player. There's no way. As far as JT,
how are you stacked?
What?
Yeah, I was just going to say, how are you stacking JT compared? Because he's back end of the first round, top end of the second. Where are you stacking him against all the other running backs that are in that range?
I'm taking JT very little because Kyron's always there, because Achan's always there, Barkley's always there, and those three RBs I have ranked above JT, not by a ton, but they're always ranked above. So I'm rarely ever drafting JT because JT usually goes before at least 2, maybe 3 of those guys. So he becomes a player I don't draft a ton. Hard to trust him staying healthy, partly, but the other part is just, it's not that I hate him, I just like those other 3 running backs better.
Okay. Appreciate it, Smitty.
All right, bro, later. And if you need best ball stacks, make sure you look at A.D. Mitchell, Jelani Woods, and AR5. Or sometimes you just, stack something else on the team. You don't necessarily have to stack. Like sometimes you take MHJ and you've got Kyler as like a sub stack and you still have AR5 and it's a 1 QB. Michael from Houston, you're live.
What's going on, Smitty?
Yo.
I was just kind of see what you thought about the rule change the NFL did and how it will affect Puka Nacua going forward, where they got to stop before they hit the line of scrimmage. They can't just run like they were before.
I think Puka Nacua is such a good player in terms of finding space, especially when he's darting across the field. I think Puka Nacua is. I don't think any receiver is going to have a real issue with that. I think the receivers are guys that would change. Any changes would concern me if changes are made. Would be Worthy because he's smaller. I don't even say Tank Dell because Tank Dell's footwork and his ability to get off the line is actually remarkably good, despite what people like to say. But Worthy, guys like that, whenever there would be a change or something like that, if that's what you're saying, that I would concern myself a little bit, but I'm not too worried about any future changes that would affect the NFL. It's so hard to put your hands on players after they get going anyway, because you get penalized. That it's a free for all. Like elite, electric, fast, speedy wide receivers rule the NFL now. They're always going to be open. Tyreek Hill's the king of that. He's wide open by 10 yards. I'm not worried about anything affecting these guys. Puka Nacua is so magical across the field. He gets open, he finds space, catches the football, lays out for anything. That's why I worry about him getting hurt. Puka's amazing, yeah, but he is an injury risk. What?
I said Tank Dell got to be worried because the schedule is so much harder for the Texans this year.
I'm not worried about Tank Dell at all. Not to mention a lot of schedules change, bro. I mean, every defense is different from year to year. Tank Dell's got more. There's more defensive attention on Nico because of his contract. I think defenses are going to look at him as the number one. Tank Dell's going to exploit coverages, and I'm not worried about Tank Dell. Dell's going to be amazing. And bro, there's a give and a take to that. If the Texans truly have a tougher schedule at the end of the day, and data is correct, and it transfers over, guess what happens? They're down in more games, and they're throwing the damn football. And that's all good. All right, bro. Anything else?
Nah, have a good night.
All right, bro. Later. Tyrone, you're live.
Hey, what's going on, brother?
What's up, man?
I just wanted to ask, how are you going to attack 2 QB Superflex leagues? I have the 11th spot out of 12, and I've just been trying to formulate a draft strategy going into this season.
It's tough, bro. I probably say that pick is particularly hard to draft from. But if my strategy, my win a league strategy that year after year just proves dominant, this absolute dominant, is you take a QB in round number 1, and then you go back to normal drafting in round 2, in round 3, preferably round 4, and then you're keeping your eyes open for that QB. And Jordan Love was the recipe last year, and people that drafted Jordan Love as their second quarterback and stole him away won leagues. Is it redraft or dynasty? Because I have two formulas that absolutely crush. Redraft or dynasty?
Redraft.
Okay, so
Redraft.
you're gonna take Fields, and I can't tell you where Fields is gonna go in your draft. He could go very late. He could go middle of the draft. You gotta know your own league. But it's safe to take Russell Wilson with him. People are scared to death to take Russell Wilson right now, and they're also scared to death to take Fields because no one knows what's going on. And then grab Penix Jr. as well, so you have that extra firepower. That would be my QB2, because I think Fields could dominate. And if he doesn't, at least you have Russell Wilson that's doing decent things for your super flex. Okay, if it's dynasty for anybody watching, it's Cousins and Penix Jr. People are deathly afraid of drafting a QB in Cousins that has an expiration date, and Penix Jr. is not starting, so he falls. And so those are your two smash strategies. Now, as far as like you have this late pick, which sucks, I don't know if you're going to be able to get JD5 there. I don't know if you'll be able to get Jordan Love there. I imagine you'll still be able to get a quarterback at least that good, and to me, that's good enough. AR5 would be ideal. If you can't get AR5 here, Lamar Jackson, AR5, or Stroud, those would be like I think you get JD5 at least, but it's risky to take him that early, but it's also a running quarterback that's going to, do well, and I think he's going to smash. But I would try and get AR5, Stroud, or Lamar if you can.
Thank you.
All right,
Good
bro.
night, brother.
Later. Appreciate you. All right, Eddie, final thoughts, bro.
Yeah, so I'm keeping 11th round Devon A-Chain. I drafted him last year there. I know you've been talking a lot recently about stacking him with Jalen Wright and Raheem Mostert. Out of all the other rookie RBs, like a Benson, Lloyd, Ray Davis, Bucky Irvin, who could really kind of creep into those RB1 workloads and kind of, carve out a role this year?
I think Chase Brown could. I think that Jaylen Warren could. I think, Vidal could at some point if we're talking like these types of players that are in these situations. But I think that Zamir White's got tons of upside. I think that he's proven that he could be a top 10 running back, so he could bounce back. Those are all the guys that I love. I think Braylon Allen and Breece Hall are a must cuff, so I obviously like Braylon Allen. This is one of the most overlooked situations in fantasy football, period. This trip stack of Achane, Mostert, and Wright. And it's the closed-minded person that has, I don't know, rinsed and repeated so many times in fantasy that they can't think innovatively. Like this fantasy space is the same thing as any industry. You need to innovate. You need to create. And the fact that people think that you can't spend 3 roster spots on one backfield is ludicrous, because this is a situation we've never seen before. And Mostert and Achane, or Wright and Achane. Achane is the side piece of this that doesn't get affected by either Wright or Mostert or what's going on with that struggle there, or if one goes down. Achane's in a wide back role that Miami Mike McDaniel created similar to Debo's, because he's the architect of that in San Francisco. He comes over and creates a wide back in Achane, just an inverse version of it. I'm starting Mostert and Achane, and I'll eventually maybe start Wright some games if Mostert gets hurt. I'm starting Mostert and Achane in one of my leagues with a smile, with an absolute smile. Redraft in best ball, I'm drafting this trip right here all the time. I don't care if it's the same bye week, you're going to get in trouble. Who cares? Like, you figure it out. You can find other players to supplement in that 1 week, but you're also full go the rest of the season after you get hit with all 3 of these guys going on a bye. Now you're invincible the rest of the way. This is a week 6 bye. So week 7 on, I'm untouchable at running back. But the fact that anybody thinks this is ridiculous to draft 3 running backs in best ball or non-best ball is a closed-minded person that doesn't understand that we're looking at something special and different. A situation where Achane had, 200 yards and 4 touchdowns, and Mostert had, 200 yards and 3 touchdowns in one game? In the same game? And they're easily capable of 100 total yards and a touch almost every single week. So just to point that out for the people that don't think about this from a different perspective, you can keep doing what you've done. I've been told you can't have this many players from one team. You aren't thinking innovatively. In this comment right here, I don't think you understand the concept of everything that I just explained. It's not frustrating. It's actually nice to see, because you know that only so many people are going to get it, and you're going to continue to be able to take advantage of it. But not betting on a 31-year-old, period. Well, then you're not going to be able to do or enjoy the kind of production that this duo can provide you. And I agree. I'm not betting on a 31-year-old running back. I'm not betting on a 31-year-old running back. I'm drafting a trio, and I'm safeguarding myself. And especially in best ball, you're not betting on any one individual. You're betting on the tandem, the trio, because they're going to step up and deliver no matter what. You don't decide who starts. Optimal scoring does for you. So it's a very close-minded argument to be against drafting 3 RBs from this offense, from this track and field offense. But I'm glad that people struggle with it. I'm so glad. And hold on one second, pal. Let me come back to you in a second. JD5 or MHJ Keeper League Superflex. I'm sorry, Mac, are you still here? MHJ Keeper Superflex. I have London and Chase and Dell. You got to go JD5. I very, very, very much love MHJ. And I'm very tempted still, depending on your QB situation, drafting MHJ 1.1 in a Superflex startup rookie draft, right? But that's if you're taking care of yourself in the running back department. If you don't have the QB department. If you don't have a QB2, then JD5, push comes to shove, is better, because all things are pretty close and equal. You have London, you have Chase, you have Dell, you're loaded at wide receiver. 2 QB max on the roster. That makes JD5 even more valuable. I think you definitely, Fields off waivers is great. You got Fields, and that's a gamble right now, but JD5 and Fields is your starting QBs with those wide receivers. It's an intriguing proposition, Mac, and I appreciate you dropping your super chat. I'm sorry for the delay on that one. I think I've caught up on all the super chats. Mac to the moon. Mac, thanks for dropping that. Final thoughts, Eddie.
Yeah, I mean, I just think I'm falling in love with drafting Breeze at the 104. Obviously, getting Mostert and Jalen Wright to pair with Achane. I think I'm setting myself pretty nice there. So.
Yep. All right, bro.
Appreciate everything.
Keep it going. Breece Hall to the moon, bro. Breece Hall to the mother freaking moon.
Breece Hall is 8 foot tall. He will always answer the mother freaking call. Don't let him fall. In the third, don't stall. Just give Batman the freaking football.
He's Breece. He's Breece.
He does a hull of a job. A hull of a job. A hull of a job.
Breece Hall, please report to the moon.
He does a hull of a job.
Rock out. Final thoughts, bro. Rock out. I guess he's not there. Rock out.
Yeah.
All right. Final thoughts.
I'm good.
All right. Rock out to the moon. Feel better. You feeling better, bro?
I'm getting there.
All right. Keep it up. Later, bro. Appreciate every single one of you dialing into the show. And for those of you that don't know about Keon Coleman, let me just show you that he, as we walk into the season, the spaceman, the first of all, he's a moon man extraordinaire.
The moon man, dropping loads in outer space.
And I think he may need to go to the Mars men board, to be honest with you. But the moon men, Mars men are locked and loaded as week 1 starts. Once week 1 begins, all of that gets locked. All right, Trent, you're obviously not prepared. I don't know what's going on in the background there. But you walk into week number 1, and all the Moon Men, Mars Men, all that stuff is locked down. And that way there's no confusion. There's no creating new Moon Men. There's no evolving Moon Men or evolving door at the Moon Men, list or anything like that. We break into the wild, wild west. And as a way of teasing the content a little bit and showing you what's in store during the in season, I give you the wild, wild west. I give you one of the 10 most wanted men in fantasy football. I give you Hold on. There we go.
Want it. Want it. The top most wanted outlaws. 'Cause they're wanted. Dead or alive. Wanted. The top most wanted outlaws. These outlaws are on the run.
Get ready for it. Wild Wild West is coming. You better be prepared for it because the Outlaws are bringing the thunder. I will see you all later. Appreciate every single one of you. If you're from X, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. There's no way you're going to see all of this greatness and goodness on X all the time. I go on there live in conjunction with YouTube maybe once every 5 or 6 or 10 times. So you want daily content. We're live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday. Rain or shine, pandemic, sick, rain, doesn't matter. I'm live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday. I'm additionally live whenever big news breaks, which is this show right here. How long have we been live on this breaking news show of Aiyuk and all the stuff going on right now with Puka Nacua? 2 hours and 41 minutes. I've been live for 2 hours and 41 minutes on a random live stream that was a breaking news show because that's what we do. That's how Dad did it. That's how America does it. And it's worked out pretty well so far. I'm also live most midnights at Eastern at midnight Eastern, depending on, how the day goes. Like tonight, for example, 2 hour and 40 minute show. Going to be hard for me to go live tonight again at midnight, but I can drop a private link so we can get into a draft together. If you want to jump into this draft with me, let me create a private draft link right now for all of you so we can draft in on Underdog. Let me see. 12-man slow draft. Create a private draft. Here we go. I'm going to drop the link right now in the live chat. I hope that you all join me. This will also give you 50% on your first deposit by using this link to join this particular league. So hit the link, do it live, smash, boom, $3 draft. Join, battle against me, see if you can draft a better team than me. There's going to be only 12 spots. They're going to go quick. I'm going to watch them just tick away here. Okay, so join real quickly. There's the link. I'll drop the link one more time. Smash it. Join me in a league. This will go weeks 1 through 17. Just us together inside this draft. Appreciate you all. See you Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. That means tomorrow. But I almost guarantee you there's either a breaking news piece tonight. So let's say Aiyuk got traded tonight. I go live. I don't go live tomorrow. I go live tonight. If breaking news happens, I go live. And tomorrow, you'll probably hear from me on a breaking news show before the 8 p.m. Eastern show. See you then.
He's Kyron. He's 7 feet tall.
Oh, we have a few, I'm sorry. We have a few celebratory milestone messages that I got to get through. Mark says, had the 1.1 and the 1.8 in Dynasty. MHJ and Keon. That's fantastic, bro. I'll be honest with you. Someone talked me out of taking Keon over Adunze at the 1.3 in an upcoming Dynasty rookie draft. Someone talk me out of it, because I'm going to need you to talk me out of it. 10-month membership question. We have our very own Kermit. Yeah, Mahomes, fake Mahomes called in earlier. I hope he's a regular. We absolutely loved that phone call. And J Fam with the message says CMC or Gabe Davis first overall pick. For you, Jay, I would say Gabe Davis. Okay. Thanks for the message, Jay. Appreciate you. And this is one final phone call from 785. What is your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, what up, Smitty? It's Paul from Kansas.
Paul, you got a very short amount of time. Paul, what can I do for you real quick, pal?
All right, man. Yeah, first off, listen. I caught myself in a little situation yesterday. I got into like a couple of these MMG drafts on Underdog. I didn't realize that they're 8 hours long, but I kind of like it since it gives me a little time to think about my picks and stuff.
Okay.
And also while listening to you. But, so anyways, let me tell you what I'm rocking with. Hold up.
Quick as you can, because I'm out the door.
Yeah, I got you. So anyways, off the third round pick, I went with CeeDee Lamb, second round pick, Devon A-Chan, Kyron Williams, Trey McBride. But
Smash.
I was kind of hoping for Mahomes on the Trey McBride pick, but the guy behind me got him. So I went with Trey McBride, and then on the fifth pick,
AR5.
Yeah. So correct. Yeah, I was kind of stuck between Anthony Richardson or Terry McLaurin. So I was kind of like either in between on whether if I should balance out with a wide receiver. I know McLaurin's running with Jaden Daniels.
Let me tell you one thing. I love McLaurin. I love him. But AR5 and then Coleman later is better than McLaurin and missing out on AR5. I do love JD5. You can still draft JD5, but get Keon Coleman, my guy. Get Keon Coleman. Pair him with AR5. You can have. Don't worry about the stack necessarily. Your team's absolute straight fire. That's a great team. Don't be afraid to grab Connor and Benson later for another RB spot. Don't be afraid to grab JSN. Jamison Williams is great later as a wide receiver grab. All right, bro. Got to go. Appreciate you. Call in tomorrow. All right, guys. I'll see y'all later.
He's Kyron, he's 7 feet tall, and he knows how to handle a ball. He's Kyron, he can take frowns and turn them upside down with his touchdowns.
A-Chan. A-Chan is the man. His haters call him small.
But he is 9 feet tall.
A-Chan is the man.